Well, happy Friday night. Just looking to see what's going on. I don't see anybody there, which would be very strange for gallery night, wouldn't it? I'm going to give it that hot minute and see what is going on. But in the meantime, as I panic, because there doesn't seem, there we go. Cheryl, you did it. You did it. Something's happening. W- Cheryl, since you are the first one on, I've got to ask you, did you have any trouble logging on tonight? There's nothing going on tonight, is there? Nothing out of the ordinary. Except, okay, here we go. Cheers, my dears. Jujune, cheers, my dears. Happy Friday night to you and Cheryl on the Cape. Happy Friday night. Great to see you and all of your wonderful projects. This is our favorite night of the month, typically. To be sure that we have it scheduled for next month too. My phone is well, wait a minute. Hang on a second. As we all log on, we are being approached by two cute people. One of them is down here. Okay, well there's one cute person right there. And Teddy, you're on, my man. Whether you mean to be or not, you're on camera. Happy Friday night, my sweet love. Ah, there he is. How's your weekend gonna go, Ted? You looking forward to a good one? Yeah? And how was your week? Any good? Yeah. It had its moments, right? All right. Well, it definitely had its moments, right? The other animal is down here somewhere. And I have to say, as we all log on, and I'm feeling better about the stream tonight, I have to say, look at this travesty behind me. What is going on? Now, I don't mean to complain. I always can, but I'm referring to the fire. Um, this was so charming in November. But since then, we have had some wildly hot days. In fact, I was complaining about the heat as I was outside trying to walk up and down the hill getting some exercise. And I don't know what happened, but it is freezing here again in Connecticut. What's going on with you? You know what? I bet I can find out checking on all of these comments. Suze, welcome on Friday night. Welcome from Kansas. Great to see you. Tamarack NWT, hello. Oh, it's Lonnie. Great to see you. Finn and Zane are there too. Super welcome. You are there with your boys from Yellowknife. Great to see you. Your rugs are up first, so you are on deck. The three of you are on deck. What beautiful work you sent in. Kirsten, great to see you. Happy Friday night. It is snowing a bit in Vermont. Okay, so you see, I jinxed all of us by talking about this great summer weather that we were having. I am so sorry. Catherine, great to see you. I can see you. You're there. There was a weird delay. Nobody was on for the first 30 seconds, and I thought, oh, here we go. But yeah, but the gods have now smiled on us, at least the tech gods. Myra, great to see you. Hello in Virginia, and welcome back, Melissa. Welcome back. Great to see you. Linda B. in New Jersey. Great to see you too. Happy Friday night. I lost track, but I know I saw you all there. There we are. Charlotte, great to see you. Hello in Connecticut. And I hope that we're going to get together soon. That would be so great. Thank you for your nice email. Charlotte's working on some of the kits. I started the April one. I won't talk about it yet, but I started it, and it's another cute one, I think. What happens in April? What do you think the April kit is going to be about? Coming from the months at Mousehole Farm, right? It's a little mouse, Margot, with her dogs, Laundry and Lint Ball, who are doing all kinds of different things that go through the calendar year. What do you think is happening in April? I'll get down there eventually if you're going to guess. It'll be soon. Charlotte, great to see you. Joy, great to see you. Happy Friday. Wonder Piece Collection. Wonder Piece Collection. Julie, is that you? Wonder Piece Collection. Oh, I have such struggles with handles. They make perfect sense and they're also pretty. I've got to get my little chalkboard back with all of the handles. Kaz, great to see you. Very windy in Wisconsin. Oh my gosh. That sounds wild and whippy, huh? Oh, thanks for saying hi. I have a feeling he'll be back. Teddy appeared very early in this episode, so I have a feeling that he'll be back sooner or later. The freezer will be calling to him, and there are some ice cream sandwiches and popsicles in there. So I have a feeling we might say hi to Teddy once more. And Buttons, thank you. Buttons is right under my legs. Oh, never mind. He heard his name. Here he come.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. They're gotta say I need a haircut. They're, God. Does my breath stink?
You know what I got him this week? I discovered it for the first time scrolling on something. That powder for dogs' teeth, dental powder for dogs' am I losing it, or is this a normal progression? I was thinking, he's still a young man. He's what, like 8 or something? Yeah. So he's still a very young man. But
Joe, his breath stinks.
and I saw this dental powder, and I thought, you don't brush his teeth, right? Because homie don't want to play that game again. That was something he did not enjoy as a small pup. So we just stopped. We probably shouldn't have. But this powder is supposed to work really well. Just sprinkle it on the food. This one I got is tastes like chicken, and it takes like tartar and plaque off their teeth. I wonder if chicken powder works on my teeth too. Gotta wonder, right? But it's almost time for him. I just heard his tummy make a gurgle. I won't hold him like this for too long. I think he just ate. I know he ate a lot of my meatballs, so. But he's gonna go soon for his PETCO haircut, and because it was warm. Good thing I didn't do it yet because it's freezing cold again. But we saw the first Ricky Ticky. I can't say that word either because he gets scared. He hates it when he has them pulled off of him. But we saw one, the first one. It's all happening. It's all happening. All of these changes. So, oh boy, lots of stuff on the calendar. We're gonna get him insurance too, and the cat because they are getting a little bit older, right? That's a thing, pet insurance. I don't, or maybe I'm just really focused on stupid things right now. Looking forward to gallery night. Kirsten, did I say it's great to see you? And I would say I'm sorry about the snow in Vermont, but maybe it's beautiful. Maybe it looks beautiful on your little pond there. I bet it does. Ursula, great to see you. You just posted something. Oh, it was the applique thing. So pretty. You posted such a pretty applique thing on your Ursula Designs page, Facebook page. Very, very pretty. Really well done. Looking forward to the inspiration. Jessica, great to see you. Happy gallery night. Welcome back. Did you see my email? How's Evie doing with the school play? Is it going well, or is she already done with that? And did it go well? I was thinking about that little button. Trish, great to see you. Hello from balmy, windy Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, that sounds very nice. Oh, I like that. Catherine, great to see you. Happy Friday. Oh God, it is Friday the 13th. It is. Okay. Friday the 13th, got your frosty Diet Coke at the ready. Oh, that sounds super fresh. I'm going to have a beverage later, right? Later, I can have a beverage, yeah. Not an alcoholic one. I'm going to save those calories for food these days. Um, Lachelle, great to see you in Nebraska. Super welcome to you. I'm so happy that you're there. A good night of inspiration coming your way. The Wonder Piece collection, cold and windy there. Um, Catherine in Southern California, you're there too. Did I miss you? I'm so sorry. Great to see you. Diane, great to see you. Gin and tonic there. Cheers, my dears. That sounds wonderful. Kaz, we're supposed to have a snowstorm from Sunday to Monday, 20 inches. Okay, I'm going to stop complaining. That's a lot. Gosh, I'm sorry about that. I know we have like one foot in spring and the other on a banana peel, right? I think we're all feeling it. Mom, great to see you. I was going to remind you, I got so busy. I'm glad that you remembered. So happy that you're there too. We had some nice time together this week. Jessica says it's not too cold, but we have crazy wind, also crazy wind in Ohio and Wisconsin. See the way the wind is blowing there. Wow. Julia, great to see you, Julia. It's been your handle for 10 years. So hard to change. No, it's great. I just need to change my brain into one that can remember stuff. That's what I need to do. I'm going to bring my chalkboard back. Remember to bring my chalkboard back, right? Because of handles. I want to get the handles right. Right. New moon, maybe lambing in April. Oh, maybe lambing in April. Oh, dang it. That was a good thought. It's not what I got going on, but I kind of wish I did that now. Oh man, that is a great idea. Maybe I'll think on it. I haven't started it yet. That's a really good idea, actually. Jinxies. All right. Diane, happy Friday. Windy City indeed today, 35 miles an hour. Oh, wow. That's a lot all day. Oh, it's great to see you. It's Lar in Las Vegas. Great to see you. Welcome back. And happy Friday night. Makwa turned 9. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, so when it's a he, isn't it? Makwa's a he, right? That under all that collie fur, it's hard to tell. You got insurance when he turned 9. So yeah, so maybe it's getting close. Just to err on the cautious side. Not that I want to jinx the baby. That's good information though. Yeah, I think I'll do that for the cat too, who I think is the cat older or younger than Pitter Pat? Pitter Pat is 9. Pitter Pat is 1 year older than that. Pitter patent buttons. My God, what funny names to go on an insurance document, right? Oh dear, Kirsten's supposed to snow in Vermont in March. Yeah. Oh, it is supposed to. Okay, so everything is as it should be. Ursula, I'll tell Teddy. I think he will be back. Oh, Jessica says Evie had a great time in The Lion King Jr. She did an amazing job as a bird in the ensemble. That sounds so good. I'm so glad that boosted her confidence and she's so creative. Did she work on the costumes too? She would be the best one if she was going to work on costume stuff and set stuff. Makwa, he is now 12. Oh, that's hard to believe. He is looking so handsome, Kaz. Seriously, he is the most beautiful dog, the most handsome dog. I mean, gosh, I wasn't on Monday. I'm so sorry about that. I suddenly realized that I was in the shizzy. I just had a bunch of things collapsing on me, time wise, and I just started to panic in a shapeless way. And I thought, okay, how do I get back on the rails with all this stuff? I'm just desperately trying to get the Rose book refined. I've got it all, on my tablet and I'm making changes as I go. But the thing is, the more I look at it, the more I see problems and then I keep changing it. And I really have got to move on because I have really got to focus on the Spill in the Tea book. Everyone else is like so far advanced with their patterns. I haven't even started mine. There he goes. So anyway, I'm so sorry about that. I was hoping I could jump on midweek this week because I got Rug Cooking Magazine. Do I have it here? I have it somewhere. Oh, I do have here though. I'm such a pig, aren't I? I have to say, I don't always spend time looking at Magpie Times because it's the magazine that I publish with Judy Taylor, and I do feel like a bit of a pig when I'm like always looking at my stuff. I like to showcase a lot of people's stuff, right? But I was looking at this issue of Magpie, and of course, this is a piece that was hooked by Jessica Troyer on the cover, designed by Karen Garby and Kirsten Gay. And I mean, this is just a gorgeous issue. We'll look at it together at some point, but it's just a gorgeous issue with gorgeous patterns, lots of projects. It's really colorful and beautiful. I really extra love this one. I want to talk more about Magpie because I need to do a serious shout out to you. Serious. But let's not do it right now. I want to enjoy gallery night. If there's time at the end, we can start a little side conversation on that. Otherwise, I plan to be with you on Monday to let's look at Rug Cooking Magazine first because it's more timely. Magpie is here. I have some magpies in stock. Magpie is also on Amazon in your respective country. You can buy it from your Amazon, right? And it ships locally. So you don't get a huge shipping from the US. So that's there for you if you want yours. We'll look at Magpie hopefully later next week. But sorry I missed you this week. I feel like we have so much to catch up on now. Let's see. Ryan, great to see you. Happy gallery night to you too. Ryan, I saw on your huge piece that you're working on that you did the two small like portraits, like framed kind of portraits on the mantle, and they looked so good. Ryan is of course working on an enormous original punch piece. And in our Facebook group, which is Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club, he just posted a close up of these two like photos frames that are on a mantle. So pretty. So pretty. Very, very well done. Let's see. Wonder Piece certainly is beautiful. Got mine. Oh, I'm so glad. I really love it too. I really love it. I really want to look at it in detail. So we'll do that soon. But I really do need to do some shout outs because we might be doing some changes soon. And I'll just put a very subtle flea in your ear by saying we are definitely working on Magpie, and we definitely have some more issues of Magpie coming. But I really need to know, I really need to shape it again in my mind so that it flows better and it's less of a struggle piecing it together every issue for me. I need to brainstorm more with you all because when we brainstorm together during a show, about Magpie included, we get so many ideas together, in the moment, and then I'm able to keep going and find people to do articles and find structure and themes and keep it going. But it is hard to keep it going, right? So I don't want to sound ominous, but I feel like I want to start to institute like one evening a month or maybe twice a month, a Zoom call for everyone who wants to log on, whether you want to brainstorm. I'm not going into detail, just an idea. Whether you want to brainstorm about ideas or you just want to log on while you're hooking for company. But I want to have like a regular thing for everybody who's available to do it to say like, okay, listen. So I feel like with this issue, this person's I won't ever name names, but the person, for example, who I'm making this up completely. who's going to do an issue on an article on mending, right? Like something different on mending. One of these sort of departure sister craft articles can't do it. They're sick or they're traveling or something. So I feel like I'd like something else that has to do with the needle craft. Let's brainstorm. What needle crafts would we like to see? Something like that. Or I'd really like to feature like a rug cooking artist who we hardly ever talk about. Maybe he's somebody brand new who's been posting a lot in the group and is just starting, who's got some good traction. Can we name some names? Can we look for some names? Can we try to find someone? Does anybody want to interview that person? Just send a list of questions as the article, that kind of thing. So we can sit together once or twice a month on Zoom and we can interact and we could say, that's really good, but remember you did that for this issue, or you know what we haven't done yet, or you know what we miss. We can do that. I also want to start putting in a regular feature. I said this at the beginning and we really didn't do it. That's like a Dear Abby, where people send in their questions. Well, they don't have to be beginner questions. It could just be like, dang it, I've been trying to do that 8-strand multi braid and it is really playing me. I need a reminder, how, how many increases and whatever, like whatever kind of a question about rugs. And I was thinking of calling that feature because the magazine is called Magpie Times. I was thinking about calling that feature Dear, because of the time to delay. I'm not going to let it linger, but I know that you're probably saying it out loud. Dear Maggie for Magpie. Get it? Dear Maggie. He coughed at the same time that I said it, of course. So I think that'll be fun, but I want to shape it more and I want it to be more interactive because when I have to work on it, great though it is, and as much as I love it, I go back and forth with Judy and Shannon and Kirsten and a few other people on a regular basis. But I really want it to be a group effort. Even if you're not going to work on anything, even if you don't have any to do an article, you might have a great idea, and I can maybe source it to someone else. So I just want to work more interactively with everybody to brainstorm great ideas because it's hard to do it in a vacuum or a semi vacuum, so I'm probably in the next couple of days going to put up the first date for that. And I'll choose different dates at different times, but some during the day, some more in the evening, so people in different time zones, and hopefully people will log on and we can just figure stuff out and do like stream of consciousness stuff together live on those occasions. So, but it is an amazing issue. Um, yeah, you know what? Let's get going. And then if there's time at the end, we can talk about some other fun stuff. But let's get started because I always think we have plenty of time on these nights and we don't. So, Lonnie, you are out there with your two sons. Let's get started over here. Now, this is a good segue to Magpie Times. One of my favorite things in this issue of Magpie Times, of course, I just completely am in love with this cover. What is not to love? One of my favorite things in this issue truly is this piece that Lonnie sent in. Here it is, and I'll just flash it to you. Um, Biological means of lawn control. So I'm going to share this segment. It's just this page here. The other side has a free pattern on it, but this is what Lonnie sent in. So this is a piece that I have in the show. I'm going to show you in a minute, and I'm going to share just this one page because not only does this give you a feel for what a shorter piece, right, a paragraph and a gorgeous original piece, what it looks like in an article. Okay? So some people think like, if I'm going to contribute something, what could I write that would be like? I could never write something that long. One page article is formidable, right? It really stands out. It's a good piece of real estate. It's a nice amount of space to be able to make the point that you want to make and show something beautiful, right? So let's look at that beautiful thing and um um hold on one second, and then I'm going to catch up on those comments too. So this is the piece. Lonnie, I just love this piece. You did such a clever um like the text, right? The text, like this is really a wide awake, thoughtful, well written piece with humor and a serious sort of undertone to it. So Lonnie writes, hi Deanna, my second email of the day. Thank God for that because all of your emails are amazing. If you're still looking for content for Magpie, and I ended up putting it into Magpie, but I also wanted to submit it for gallery night because whether you have Magpie or not, I want to be sure that you don't miss this piece. The title is Biological Means of Lawn Control, completed January 24th, 2026, hooked in Yellowknife NT. NT. Lonnie, remind me. What is wrong with me? NT. New. Um, oh God, what is it? Um, NT. Come on. Come on, what's wrong with me? Hold on. While my brain tries to kick into gear, let me say certainly is beautiful. Got mine yesterday. Diane says I'm a third of the way through my Dashing George rug. Fantastic. Need two dyes, always out of stock. Sigh. What dyes are you looking for, Diane? If I have them, I'll just send you some. Ryan, thank you. I'm trimming my tails now. That is a hooker puncher thing, isn't it? I'm trimming my tails. Northwest Territories. There we go. The That's a tricky one for me, but I have to remember it, Lonnie. It's going to go onto the board. It's going to go onto the chalkboard with the handles, right? Um, Lonnie says, I did a last minute change and pulled the short trees out from behind the house. Oh, did you? Did you? The version of Magpie is the improved one. You know what? Let's look. This piece looks so vibrant on my TV. It's incredible. Absolutely, isn't it? It is super vibrant. You know what? Hang on. You pulled some of the trees out. You are so silly and such a perfectionist. Hold on. I love it. I can't imagine it being better. I'm not going to be able. No, wait a minute. Is that a different version? Hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's just do flipsies. Oh, you did. You did. Yep. You had, I see. They were touching the house before a little bit. You know what? I can't remark on it because this is gorgeous and the other one is gorgeous too. If it was in one of those books with four pictures that said spot the differences, it would have taken me a while, I have to admit. It is a gorgeous piece. My mom says, gorgeous piece, MC Peculiar. Great to see you. Peace and blessings to you too. Happy Friday night. This piece is so beautiful and vibrant. Again, biological means of lawn control. Yellowknife, Northern Territories. The material is burlap with yarn, wool and wool blend yarn, and wool cloth. And the pattern is an original pattern. So about the rug, and here's the answer right here. I should have just read down. I lived in Palmerston, North New Zealand in the early 2000s. Oh no, that was New Zealand days while completing my master's degree. My first home was a farmhouse on one of the university's experimental farms, tucked just behind campus. We had a small fenced yard, and our nearest neighbors were the sheep in the surrounding fields. Without a lawnmower and tasked with maintaining the lawn in our small yard, my roommates and I reached what seemed the most logical solution. We asked the farm manager if we could borrow a few sheep to graze the lawn. Permission granted, and we were pleased with the results. About a week later, a letter arrived from the university informing us that we were not permitted to use biological means of lawn control. That phrase lodged itself in my memory and is now a rug featuring a few of the culprits who were banned from any future lawn mowing. You know, I don't get it. Like like what is the idea behind like not allowing animals to graze on grass? Is the idea that like on private property you might have done something to the grass, like put insecticide down or something like that, and that it might be other than that, I can't think why that would ever be a thing because God knows sheep do their thing. I would say particularly in like a place like New Zealand, right? Um, yeah, how funny. But I thought it was such a funny piece and such a clever piece. And yeah, the turn of phrase is like so thoughtful, so official, right? So sort of red tape. Um, yeah, I feel like biological lawn control should be a universal thing that's acceptable with very few exceptions. But interesting conversation, interesting argument, and I think it was a brilliant solution. I'm sorry that it didn't work out. It must have been a real pain to have to try to acquire a lawnmower as a student, right? And to deal with that time wise. Absolutely beautiful piece. You're getting a lot of great comments there. It's all about control over others. I'm sure that you're right about that, and that makes me angry. That makes me bristle. Love your sheep. Beautiful curly locks. They are beautiful, loose, fuzzy, furry, beautiful fur on these little guys. I love the different textures. So, Lonnie, you really divide your interest in terms of materials between hooking with recycled materials and hooking with yarn and more traditional materials. And it's so fun to see you flip flop between both because really variety is the spice, right? Very pretty spring colors, Jessica says. better than a lawnmower or leaf blower any day. Yeah, don't get me started on leaf blowers. That I will, you can never explain to me how that would, and nobody can, how that would ever be a good idea just to blow them somewhere else until the wind blows. I don't get it. This is such a beautiful piece. I'm so happy that it appears in the current issue of Magpie Times, and I'm so happy that you sent it. You also sent some beautiful pieces. Ho 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 from your two sons, who I think are there. Um, you wrote, "Hi, Diana. My boys would like to each make a submission to gallery night. They are very excited to see their rugs featured live online." Da da da. Well, here we go. So they were inspired. This is Lonnie continuing. They were inspired by the spring issue of Magpie Times and have a renewed interest in making rugs. Amen to that. They are planning to design and hook rugs for the summer Magpie gallery section. Well, you are very welcome. I cannot, boys, I cannot wait to see those rugs. Finn and Zane, I cannot wait to see those rugs. Bingo. Okay. I'm following your conversation here too. Ursula, you like the idea about brainstorming. Great. I hope you'll be in for that because you are a creative powerhouse and you have a beautiful business. So that would be great. Um, Rich dies. I'll be fine. Many others spots to work on, but thank you. I do have some, so you're welcome to let me know. I don't have many. I do know equivalents to them though. If you get in a real pinch, I have to walk to get it. Dead car. No, no internet ATM. Oh no. The weather won't let me walk. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. This is like olden days talk, isn't it? Let me know seriously if you want me to try to get something close. Love the blue dog. The colors, Kirsten, I know it, right? So Zane finished a rug that he calls Waiting when he was 10. He made the design, chose the yarn, and hooked it himself. It is of a cat waiting by a mouse hole. It is the first rug that he has done. Okay, let's pause here and talk about the brilliance of this rug. Now, first of all, the blue cat is absolutely brilliant because, well, the color plan here is brilliant because we're looking at Van Gogh's color plan, the blue opposite the orange on a color wheel, match made in heaven. Beautiful contrasting colors, probably the all-time best combo, right? If you love opposite colors, this is the most popular and beloved. I think with red and green being a very distant second. This is just a beautiful color palette. Now, I love the use of imagination in this piece. I love the idea, I love the story of the cat waiting because I know this moment. I know this moment because Buttons, my dog, sits by the washing machine. There must be something. It's not mice because we have the humane traps and we're not catching any, but the sound is carrying or something is there and it is what it is. But he sits by the washing machine looking at the floorboard under it like a little sentry and I mean he could do this for hours, which is really wonderful because when he's doing that he's not driving me crazy and barking and wanting me to chase him around the house. So I understand this moment, and I love the way that this moment is abstracted, meaning the cat is there, the background is there, and the mouse hole is there. That is the whole story. There is something about the cat's posture that is very alert, right? The tail is agitated, it's like flickering a little bit. The ears are up, the animal is listening, the animal is alert, right? The game is afoot. And I love that there is no horizon line. I love that we are not bothered by the details of a background because all we need to make this story happen is to know that the cat is waiting by the mouse hole and it's all there, right? It's almost as if it's like I think it was Longfellow who said, if you start writing a poem about a beautiful old oak tree, an ancient oak, and how it shadows the dirt road under it, you've already said too much because we already know about how beautiful the shadows of an oak tree are. You don't need to tell us too much about them. We already know. And it's the same thing with the cat and the mouse hole. We know this story. This is a familiar story. It's so much more interesting for us to look at it as an idea. So here's the cat, very alert, posture is right. Colors are whimsical. I love that this is not a literal color palette because it's clear that you have brown and orange. And those are both cat colors, but you decided to make the cat blue. To me, that is so much more creative and exciting. That puts a real spark in it. It really gets the story going. I would much rather see the color combination like this than a literal color palette. It really shows um, fiery creativity and so much promise. And I love the mouse hole as well, right? The shape of it being there, it's perfect. It's perfect, Zane. It's perfect just the way it is. It is such a beautiful piece, and it's a brilliant first piece. I really love it. So you're getting some comments here. Let's see. Love the blue dog. Cat. Love the blue cat. It's a cat, right? Is it a cat? Mine is a dog. I think this one is a cat. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, it's a cat. And you know what this reminds me of? Very good tie-in. The blue Caswell cat, the blue cat of Castleton. Now, I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole or mouse hole. But I will say, remember in our talks about the Caswell carpet, reignited talks. So more on that, right? More coming at you. Be looking at that Facebook page and look at that Caswell carpet thing, because there might be some movement there. We'll talk about that as soon as I have firm information. But if you remember, somebody wrote, I'll never remember the name and I haven't, a beautiful book about the blue cat because there was a blue cat in the Caswell carpet. And there's a children's book that came out, I think in the 1940s called The Blue Cat of Castleton, something like that. We looked at that one day on one of the shows. And this blue cat reminds me of the blue cat of Castleton from the Caswell carpet. So lovely. Children have that unbiased view. Absolutely. That is awesome. Teaching almost lost skills are so vital. Absolutely. How wonderful that those boys are excited to hook. The family grows. That's right. And hey, you know what? As time goes on, I really believe that it's true with computers, what they are, and particularly AI really taking over. I believe, truly believe that there will always be a place for creative people. That will never, no matter how smart AI gets, that can never be replaced, right? Because AI is based on our original ideas to begin with, right? Your original ideas as an artist will always have a place in this world. Things that you can dream up and create with your hands. I really believe that that will always have a place in this world. This is a good thing to hold on to. Diane says, LOL, I do live in 1880s conditions. Love the blue and amber coloring on the animal rug. Jessica says, I love the wading cat. There's so much texture in color, and the colors are wonderful. Ursula says, the sheep in the foreground is a real focal point. Ursula, you mean the one that Lonnie did, right? And absolutely, that piece is so stunning as well. We can see where Zane gets his talent from. This is such a gorgeous piece. I can't wait to see the next pieces. I can't wait to share them in Magpie Times and here on the live show so that we can all see them together. Now, this is another beautiful piece that Finn, who is 11, recently finished his memorial rug, Allie, to commemorate our dog who passed. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Little Allie, I'm so sorry. Finn punched the letters and asked his mom to hook the background reminiscent of the Northern Lights. Very well done. And what a great idea. What a beautiful idea for the background. He picked the colors for the aurora and for the whipped edge. Very nice color palette. We'll talk about that. He started hooking the letters, but found that punching them was easier for him. Well, you know that can be very true. Um, it doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what crafts you've done before. Some people just feel more natural punching and others hooking, and it is what it is. And honestly, not to be a killjoy, but that usually doesn't change, right? People can cross over and sample, but when you cross over, it's like a left-handed person being forced to write with your right hand. You always feel a little bit like it's not the right way for you, right? Has to be the right way for you. The punching fin is absolutely beautiful. What lovely crisp letters. I can't think of a better memorial to a sweet pup. I know this was a sweet pup. Little old Allie. This is beautiful, something that you will always have. And I love the idea that in the background of the memorial name is this beautiful sky, right? The northern lights, the aurora, these colors coming through because it's almost like you can put any kind of mystic spin on it, right? But it's almost like wherever Allie is now, maybe somewhere in the sky, maybe not literally, right? But just in terms of like magic and mystic beauty, the idea of being behind this wall of these beautiful glowing ever-changing rainbow of colors. That is an exciting idea, a passage to where. Who knows? Nobody knows. Allie might know, but we don't know. One day we will all know. But until then, we've got this beautiful memory piece for a beloved pet. It is so beautifully done. I love the color planning. It is a very difficult thing, Finn, to be able to make letters. And however you make your letters, whether they're in like block letters or cursive letters, or it's a mix, or it's a type font, or it's a specific font, however you do it, it's always a little bit harder than doing any other kind of hooking. So I think it's really an accomplishment that you were able to make such technically nice, crisp, tidy letters, right? It is very, very well done and a super beautiful piece. A wonderful palette. I'm reading the comments. We are the creation of our Almighty, and He has gifted each one of us with His attributes. We all have our special gifts. Ain't that the truth? We all have our special gifts. And aren't we so lucky when we find them? Because you know what? Some people never find their special gifts. And that is one of the saddest things to me. So I feel like my father was one of those people who he waited until he was retired and then tried to find a special gift. And he tried for it to be golf, but then he was like breaking golf clubs on the back of park benches and the golf. I mean, he just didn't like it. And he tried things with lakes and fishing and boating and stuff like that. And he didn't find his thing. And then he got sick and then he died young. So it's so important to try to find your thing. And it's so important for Lonnie and so many other moms, grandmothers, friends, neighbors know how important it is, children in art, right? How important it is when you see, and not just children in art, each other, right? Each other, your friends. When you see someone working on something that brings them joy and gives them a special spark, you want to encourage that because it's very easy to get dragged into the um, swamp of daily life or the treadmill or the whatever, and to get carried away with your job and with exhaustion and with your schedule. And when you have to make ends meet, as we all do, and you have to abide by a schedule and you have to sometimes sleep and you have other people depending on you, it can be very hard to stay committed to your special things, your special gifts. So sometimes they fall by the wayside for a very long time. But you always have to try and remember and hope that you will be able to pick them back up sooner rather than later. The ideal is to never let them fall by the wayside at all, but that's not realistic for everybody, is it? So, yeah, just pay attention to what people are doing around you and share as much as you can because you might be the reason, you might be the bridge, the Rosetta Stone that gets people to their special gift, right? That changes their life. Our special gifts change our lives. They really do. Without them, we just exist, right? We just exist. All right, I'm stopping on that note, but I love to see younger people um, working on projects like this. It really warms my heart. It's what we want to see. It chokes me up. It's what we want to see on a Friday night. Great job, Lonnie, Zane, Finn. I can't wait to see more. These are beautiful pieces, and I think that lifted all of our spirits. We can always use some spirit lifting these days, that's for sure. Oops, oops, oops. Wait a minute. All right, here we go. Um, we are lucky to be, today, we are lucky, we are creative. Can you imagine being one? No, I can't. I can't. You know what else I can't imagine being? An athlete. Nothing against athletes. It's just the 4 really sunny days we had, and I'm looking forward to more, God willing. We had some very sunny days and trying to lose weight and all of that stuff. I walked down the hill into town and we took a different route to there's a dead end street. You walk along the river and there's a dead end street that dead ends in a cemetery. And the upper half of the cemetery is like 19, I don't know, maybe 40s stones. So older, but not like ancient stones. And then there's a lower cemetery because the road forks under these old trees. And those are all 1920 stones, like without exception. And so we walked there like 4 days in a row, and I just loved. I looked at different stones. They're tiny cemeteries. It's not going to take long to memorize all these stones, but so many of these boys died in the 19 teens, early 20s, like in their 20s, right? I'm thinking like world wars, like the insanity of well, let's start on the insanity of war, but these lives, whether it's because of fighting sickness, situation, God knows what, but a lot of people dying so young. It's so sad to see those stones. but also so somehow, I don't know, evocative and meaningful. So I did that 4 days in a row and coming back up the steep hill to the house thinking, I'm amazing. I'm exercising like crazy. As soon as I get in and I sit down to open the computer or work on something, I think, God, I'm not an athlete. That's the whole problem, isn't it, with the weight loss? I'm not an athlete. But for those of you who are, well done. I hope to fall in love with walking and exercising. Um, yeah, say a little prayer for me that that might someday happen. Um, oh, all right. Let me come back over here. I'm getting way off track, aren't I? I'm being crazy. Okay, Ursula, you sent us, I think it was a couple of cocktail times ago. You sent us one of the great inspiration pieces of all time. Now, remember, Ursula had taken this beautiful train trip across Canada from Jasper to Toronto. Let me read the email to remind you. Ursula of Ursula Designs writes to say, and Ursula Designs has a Facebook page, right? So you can find Ursula there too. You featured one of my mini hookings was it only last month on gallery night? It was part of a series designed by me from photos from an epic trip on via rail in Canada from Jasper to Toronto. You asked me to send photos of the finished products. I have finished the series and I put them in a thrifted frame for which they were designed, right? So you made these pieces. You made each one of these designs to fit the specific holes on this frame that you found in a thrift store. And you write, I am very pleased with the result, which now hangs on my gallery wall in my dining room where it can be seen every day. And I'm going to show you that photo in just a minute. So just a refresher, do y'all remember when Ursula she sent a picture of the frame and she'd started working on one or two of these. And I thought, I'm doing a live show, just so you know, no crazies. If you remember, Ursula, which one was it? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. It was the top middle one, wasn't it? It was the top middle one. It was like the long panoramic, I think. But I remember that we all lost our minds. Speaking of losing our minds, the kids are screaming in the background. Sorry. Um, we all lost our minds because this was such a great idea. And weren't we saying to each other, what does the frame look like? Like, because this was a thrifted frame, right? And then there was some conversation, I'm trying to remember, but it was like, there are some frames out there, maybe at Home Goods, maybe on Amazon. There are frames that have multiple holes in them. And when they're different sizes, ooh, you can really make a design that reflects a trip. Now, is an epic trip, your rail trip across Canada. This is the trip that I think I want to do more than anything. But if you, whatever your trip is, right, as it almost is the season when we want to start thinking about our adventures, if you travel in the summer, whether you have a staycation and you love the things you do while you're home and they're not things you always get to do, or whether you take an epic trip or a big plane trip, or you just go to a lake and you just sit there like we do on Cape Cod, you still have all of these memories of the different moments, the different views, different times of day, right? It doesn't have to be like a scrapbook of big views, right? Sometimes we have big views, right? You take a big trip and you've got these safari pictures or something really big. You go to the Grand Canyon, big views. Sometimes you're just, walking up the hill from your house and it's like the Beatles song Fool on the Hill and everything looks beautiful and green and lush and you think, wow, this I've arrived, this is it. And that makes a great picture, right? Whether or not it's a trip or it's just moments from your life, your hometown, your memories, whatever. What a great idea to put a composite piece together with all of these individual compositions that fit together within one framework. Now, a vacation is a great idea. Oh, Sharon, I'm sorry. I forgot to say hi. I think you logged on right before the screen changed for me. Sharon, great to see you. Hello to Keely, too. They do look like postcards. They're so beautiful. And they are Ursula's own photographs. So let me just take a quick sip of my water. This is Ursula's Canada trip and forever commemorated in this beautiful frame. What a great idea. They fit perfectly in there. Ursula, I love I think I noted this before, but I really have to point this out. One of the things that for me gives each individual composition such a beautiful old time photograph feeling is the fact you knew you were putting it into a black frame. is the fact that you hooked just a single little irregular black border on each one. Now check that out, because doesn't it look like the rough edges of an old photograph? You know what I mean? It fits so well into the black frame. Now, if your frame was white or light wood, it might be have much more of a graphic impact. It might be a completely different look, but like housed in this frame, it fits in so well. It gives such a soft glimpse into each one of these apertures, right? So beautiful. Leah, great to see you. Hello, everyone. You're at home dealing with sick and extremely emotional, sick and oh, extremely emotional kid today has me wiped. I thought it was whipped. It's probably both wiped. Time for a cocktail and raw cooking with you, darlings. Oh, I'm so sorry, Leah. I know kids get so crazy when they're sick, and I'm sure that because I know that you are so, so loving and such a good mom. It is the worst. It's the worst to deal with emotion, right? And I know it takes a lot out of you too, right? Because no matter how triggering and frustrating it can be, and believe me, I know. I know part of the reason I get so wiped out personally is because it also gets to me emotionally when they're sick, because you're so sad, you're so sad, and you just wish that you could take it away. And instead of being able to take it away and just go to bed, you have to deal with an upset kid. I'm so sorry. Um, oh, we'll get well soon to that little sweetheart. And bottoms up to you. Wonder Piece, very cool border, love it. Um, Ursula, yes, the Northern Ontarian one was the first one. Yep, I remember. It's very distinctive and very memorable. Such a great idea. And if you didn't catch the show where we were talking about this live, just remember, if this is an idea that appeals to you, just go online. Just go online and do like um what would you say, like collage frame? Yeah, maybe something like collage photo frame. You want to pop the glass out, right? You never want to put glass on top of a textile, right? Pop the glass out for practical reasons of space, but also the gases that build up between the glass and the fiber. You don't want that. So you just pop the glass out, but you have the perfect window that you just trace with a pencil, and then you just figure out what your designs are. Just pop in collage photo frame and then hit the shopping tab. It'll probably show you 100 different places, probably Target, probably eBay, right? All kinds of choices you're going to have. You're going to find old ones, new ones. Gosh. Oh, Marcia, great to see you. Looks like a page in an old photo album. Absolutely. It is so charming. Ursula, it's so charming. You did such a beautiful job. You must be so happy to have this on the living room wall and to be able to look at it all the time. So this is a glimpse of the living room wall, and there you see it positioned right there. And you write, just for clarification, only the bottom five are mine. One, two, three, four, five. I see. So the top three and the small middle one, not. But the bottom five are the best ones. And Ursula, those are yours. Two bottom from the left. So that's the Van Gogh. One bottom center. That's the one we're looking at. Two bottom right. Yep. Two bottom left. Yep. Yep. All of the beautiful hooked pieces. Ursula, I'm sure I've seen the bottom left, the very bottom left. Of course, we recognize Starry Night. So beautiful. You should send us the other ones for gallery night. We'd love to see all of them for gallery night. We can look at the wall again a little bit closer up. These are so beautiful. Ursula Designs, thank you so much. These gorgeous, you're just gorgeous. And the idea, the fact you gave us a great idea, um, is also so generous, and it's an idea that has legs. So we all appreciate that. The next three pieces are so lovely, sent in by one of the great primitive masters of all time, Kathy Pastori. Or I never know if it's Pastor or Pastori, but I think it's Pastori. I always say Pastori anyway. Kathy is absolutely a primitive genius. So she's done three pieces here that have such a beautiful sort of spring feel to them. Well, this is two, so it's actually four. Speaking of vignettes, I love this vignette. This is Rabbit and Easter Chick by Tweedful Things. Tweedful Things, right? So there is a company called Needful Things, and there's a company called Tweedful Things with a Tweeed, right? So sweet, three-dimensional, very Eastery pieces. It's not too early to put the Easter stuff out, is it? It's not. It's coming up. I don't want to look at my phone, but it's coming up very fast. Indeed, I know that we're planning our egg hunt at the church, so it must be coming up very soon. I just love these pieces. On the left, we have I would say like a very Beatrix Potter looking rabbit, but to me that's more of a, no, wait a minute. Cape Cod, Cape Cod, Cape Cod, male children's book writer who did a different, um, uh, oh God, oh, wait a minute. Something, Peter Rabbit, different Peter Rabbit. Oh God, I almost had it from Sandwich, famous artist of the early 20th century, children's book writer, um, Peter Rabbit, something, Jimmy Skunk. Oh, who am I thinking of, Mom? We've been to his house so many times. Oh, I almost had it. It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, it looks like that rabbit. It looks like that rabbit to me. It could also well be, um, and I did a design like what is wrong with me? It could also be like a Victorian style rabbit or an early 20th century rabbit from a postcard, right? Anthropomorphic rabbit could be any source, but it certainly has that beautiful old fashioned charm, particularly with the "uh-oh" expression. Something's wrong, right? So beautiful, such old fashioned charm, that nice, mellow, primitive. Um, God, it's going to drive me crazy. It's going to drive me crazy. I know somebody's going to write it sooner or later, and then my brain will be able to switch into one channel again. I love Bunny, and I love seeing three-dimensional stuff that gets put out, um, seasonally. And these two go so well together, particularly on this beautiful old, like Windsor style chair, right? It's beautiful color too. And Bunny is sitting right there. Rabbit, by Tweedful Things, is sitting right there beside Lancaster Barnyard. No, no, not yet. No, so that's Easter Chick. Also, Burgess. Thank you. Thornton Burgess. Thank you. That's it. Thornton Burgess. Rabbit and Easter Chick. So Easter Chick is also by Tweedful Things. What does that Easter Chick remind you of? I know what it reminds me of. I want to wait and hear. For me, it's not a Victorian postcard, although they both could be Victorian postcard. Um, Animations. Yeah, yeah, it does have that look, doesn't it? It does have that early cartoon look for sure. The big eyes and the very expressive face. What really makes this rabbit different for me, again, by Tweedful Things, is the ears, right? The ears being at the angle they are. That's what made it very Thornton Burgess for me, because he always had the ears angled up like antennae, like TV antenna. You know what I mean? Instead of just straight up or flopped back. It's a real distinctive look, and it really reminds me of him. Spring, well, it does, but more specific. Yes, yes, exactly. Those sugar eggs. Remember those sugar eggs? What are those actually made of? Are they actually made of sugar? Because, I've seen some sugar eggs that are very old and they look like they were made yesterday. I guess sugar doesn't really do too many bad things. But I mean, at a certain point, it becomes ridiculous. It's like beeswax, right? Like, how does it stay so pristine for so long? Those sugar eggs, right, that are like white sugar in the shape of an egg and they're hollow, and you look inside and there's a little scene inside, and usually the little peeky poo hole that you look through to see the scene that's inside has like the frosted scalloping around it, which, the purple scalloping on Easter Chick, again by Tweedful Things, has that feel around the edge. And you kind of peek in and see this beautiful primitive design. Look at the cute shape of this chick and the long legs it's standing on. Yeah, it does have the feel of a Peeps, doesn't it? A Peeps with, if a Peeps grew legs, it would look just like that. So pretty. Sometimes those sugar eggs have such elaborate scenes on the inside. It's almost like a ship in a bottle. You know what I mean? So fun. I love seeing those. These are both beautiful pieces. Kathy also sent this gorgeous piece. I've got a surprising amount to say about this, but I'm gonna keep myself under control. This is Primitive You by Harwood Hooked on You. Harwood Hooked on You, EWE. What I think this piece is extraordinary because it is so simple. What I want to say about this piece is that simple is hard. You've heard that before. And it is so hard to get a simple silhouette of a sheep, really simple, that has style. And I don't know what it is about this one. But it does. It has tremendous style. It's not its realism. It's still hooked at a very primitive style, super limited palette, right? We've got sort of softly modeled background and the color of the sheep itself, quite black face, right? Not so antique black, but quite black, really stands out. We see a lot of sheep in rug hooking, but sometimes you see a sheep that is just like, wow, how did they do that? It is so hard to get simple lines. I'm just grabbing my slippers here. To get simple lines to be so telling and correct. And this is one of those rare occasions. Maybe it's the pattern. I'm sure it's a beautiful pattern by, I'm just hoping, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, don't look. Wait a minute. I'm wrong. No, I'm right. I'm right. No, I'm right. I thought I had the wrong slide. I'm sorry. No, Primitive You by Harwood Hooked on You. I'm sure that the pattern by Harwood Hooked on You, EWE, is a stunning line drawing. But sometimes it's in the hooking too, right? It's the person who hooked it that did the line, was just inside the line or just outside the line. And then it's like, oh, presto, you get this beautiful, streamlined, classic shape. This is one of those moments. Very simple design, difficulty level, getting a design that is that strong and that simple. It's a 10. Out of 1 to 10, the difficulty on that is a 10. I think that was a perfect sheep. This is the third slide from Kathy, and this piece is called Lancaster Barnyard by Not Forgotten Farm, one of my favorite brands. um, Lancaster Barnyard, how charming is this? I mean, God, again, perfection, primitive perfection. Lancaster, I think, for the, now help me out again here. On the sort of Lancaster farms, you get those hexes. That's a hex, right? Is that the word I want? The circles that people put up on a barn and they usually mean something. They're very common also as shortbread stamp designs, but on a barn, I think they're called hexes. I think that's why it's called Lancaster. Also, it has that Pennsylvania feel. It has a little bit of that Magdalena Briner EB feel, right? These very clunky characters kind of squeezed in, right? Not like you thoughtfully placed them. It's not a still life as such, right? They're just in there, and they're heavy forms, and they're holding their ground, and it is a full blast folk art composition, and therein lay the perfection of it. The wide cut hooking, the color selection, the sort of soft fading of the birds, the little bit of ground under the birds. It reminds me of Zane's cat, right? And the mouse hole, right? How you don't have to have the whole horizon to be able to plant or ground a figure. Including an animal or a person, you can just have, in this case, a little bit of earth, a little stump. It almost looks like a piece of Staffordshire. It looks amazing. One of the fun things about this composition is the way it's squeezed together, in my mind. Also, the way that the border is broken east and west for a little bit more white from the birds' tails. I think that is such a lively touch. I love the way that the basket is touching the bottom, also a bit lopsided. This is a perfect primitive. And the sort of floppity oversized leaves that are coming out. That Lancaster hex is taking the place of a flower. Really, really gorgeous piece. And again, simple is so hard. If you were to draw this piece, I bet you would say to yourself, and again, this is a Not Forgotten Farms piece, and it is perfection. If you were to draw something simple, for example, on a cocktail napkin, you're out, your food's taking too long, you don't want to order another glass of something, or maybe you do, and you start sketching on your napkin. If you drew this, I bet you there's a good chance you would say, yeah, no, that's not a good pattern. But once you have it on your backing and you start hooking it, you realize this is magic. This is untouchable magic, right? And you have with primitives, primitives have different rules. I've done a lot of shows on primitives, classes on primitives. There are different rules in primitives, right? And the things that make a primitive great are things that have to not be there, right? That's a bad English sentence, but what I mean is you can't have perspective. You shouldn't have that horizon line. You shouldn't have things be the right size. You shouldn't have shading on things, right? These are things you shouldn't do if you want a really effective primitive, because this is folk art. It's naive. Those things shouldn't be there. What should be there is a composition like this with things kind of plunked in where they fit. You flesh them out. A bit on the clunky side, you use your wider cuts, and you end up with the magic, right? Absolutely beautiful. So, Kathy, thank you for sending these three slides, these four lovely pieces. They are all gorgeous, great inspiration. That was my primitive fix, man. I love primitives. Hey, I also love this. This is a very familiar design. Susan Spitzner sent this design, and Susan, you did such a gorgeous job with this. This is a ribbon candy hooking piece. This is Fluffies at Digby, and this was from the Design Like book. Susan writes, "Hello, I meant to send this in some time ago. I just loved punching this design. Thank you so much." I remember I reversed this piece for punching. Happy spring from Susan. Susan, you did a beautiful job with this. And just a reminder that this is based on the Canadian folk artist Maud Lewis. We talk a lot about her, and I did a class on her that is always available through Ribbon Candy Hooking. Brilliant folk artist, right? And I won't go into her life story because that would be many shows put together. But maybe you remember from her life story that she had many cats over the course of her life, and they were all called Fluffy. So we are seeing two of the Fluffies here, and we are seeing flowers, one of her other motifs in the background. We are seeing Digby, the bay at Digby, which is where she lived, and it was, she had a lot of physical challenges. She was born with a lot of birth, I don't know if I want to say defects, but problems. And some of them are still not understood today, the sort of combo, but she was very limited in what she could do and range of motion. And some days were obviously better than others, but this was a view that she often saw, that she could often get to. And this is this beautiful view at Digby. We see this often with these two strips of land. I don't know if they are islands or if they're strips because I haven't seen this view in person, but putting together three of Maud's classic motifs in this one piece for the Design Like an Artist book that Rug Hooking magazine published. Yeah, so this is also available as an independent pattern on Ribbon Candy Hooking. It's a beautiful piece. It's a happy piece. I've seen it done by quite a few people. This is a gorgeous version. Each one is so different. I'm trying to remember if I've seen a punched version of this. I have to say, we just had International Punch Needle Day. Was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? Was it last week? So much fun with Rebecca and Robin and Karen and all of the buddies who logged on and spoke up and showed stuff. Kaz was a great day. It's great to see another punch piece because this is really, I don't know at first glance that I would know that this is a punch piece. Not that they look so very different. I think when I look at the yellow, I go, oh, it looks like I'm seeing some sort of directional punch there. But at first glance, man, it's obviously done with yarn, but it is always hard for me to tell. I love some of the little touches that Susan did, like inside the cat's ears, like the sort of lamb's tongues or concentric V's, right, to fill the cat's ear instead of doing like it was just last week. That's crazy instead of just doing a hollow. These yellow eyes were something that Maud liked to do. These are two different kinds of cats of hers. The one on the left is the one I refer to as the moon-eyed cat. I forget what I called the one on the right. It's in that design like class that I did live as a Zoom and also in the book. She did a few different styles of cat faces. They were they had different sorts of fluffiness, levels of fluffiness, shapes of eyes, expressions in their faces. But these are two of the cats that she loved to do. Her tulips that were always in profusion in the background, and of course her beautiful view. Susan, you did a beautiful job with this piece. I'm so happy to see it. I love how the birds in the sky are black and they pull back to the cats. When I say like you see so many people doing different color plans, it's like these two cats are black, and I'm trying to think. I know I've seen some with one black cat, one white cat. They're always different and they're always special. And of course, if you have two cats, or you've had two cats, you would want maybe to make them your cats, right? So you would personalize them that way. Susan, this is a gorgeous piece. Thank you so much for sending it. And speaking of Karen, Karen showed us this piece, Karen Garby, last week. when we were having International Punch Day only last week. God, the time is really getting away from me. That yellow demands the viewer to be cheerful. Yellow will do that. That forced cheerfulness of yellow, right? It is a very positive thing. I agree with you. That is a mood changer. That beautiful bright yellow, and that was a color that modest off. Karen working on this. I don't think Karen had finished. Maybe Karen. Okay, I'm trying to think how far she'd gotten last week. Oh, Dave, great to see you. Pizza and pineapples. Oh, and pine. Okay, not pineapple pizza, but pizza and pineapple cider tonight. Also pineapple pizza. Rainy in Toronto. It's all good. It is all good. We have one foot in the snowy winter and the other one in the warm spring. Good to see you, Dave. Ursula, happy cats. Maud is such an icon here in Nova Scotia. Oh my gosh, she is, isn't she? She is like the poster child of the region. Kaz says, I love it, Karen. Yeah, and Kaz, you had a beautiful version of this as well. And Kaz, I think that's in the show too. It's so great to see the same design because we can see different color palettes, different choices, and we're just reminded that there's not even 100 or a million, but there's an infinite number of ways that you could do any pattern, right? But with a pattern like this was the Tigger exclusive pattern that I designed for International Punch Needle Day, and it's called Newport Welcome. And the symbol of Newport is the pineapple for this reason, you know. So, so Karen did this one, and she writes, I just finished the pineapple for International Punch Needle Day that you designed for Tigger. I really enjoyed punching this piece, and I turned it into a pillow, and it will go into the guest room. And I think this is the perfect thing because I remember on our first thing, she said, she had the idea. She hadn't turned it into a pillow yet, but she had the idea that she would. And she said, and what will you all do with your pineapples? And it did make me wonder because obviously this size, right? It looks like she did it maybe 12 by 12, something like that, maybe a little bit smaller. Perfect for a pillow, right? You can get like a standard pillow to go in it as well, or you can stuff it. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. And for this to go into a guest room is perfect because it is the symbol of welcome, right? So on the guest's bed, as a little decoration, right? Symbol of welcome. It's so perfect, so beautifully done. You know, I love the split flowers are part of this design. I love to see them done. I love to see a flower that's split in half with a chance for a different color on each side. Has that kind of fractal look. You see she did that peppermint or that Kaz, what's it called? That like when you alternate the colors in the stems. What's the right? I always say peppermint. That's not the correct punch word for that. But Karen did that effect in the stems. You see, she did the little sort of tendrils that are coming off of the stems in a light yellow color that looks even lighter than the pineapple, right? It's really picking up the softness of the pineapple. I absolutely love the green, that mossy bronzy color in the, oh, I never know what it's called, the leaves, the stalk on the top. That yellowy green color is one of my all-time favorite colors. It's got maybe is that beading cows when you do like dark light, and you alternate your strands or your yarns? Um, I'm inspired to make one. Oh, beading. Okay, beading. Good. Yep. Well done. Thank you all. Beading. I got to remember that too. Chalkboard. Chalkboard times. Yeah, I just love seeing all these different effects. But man, that color gets me. That color really gets me. I can hardly ever find stuff that's in that really golden green. Um, it's very hard to achieve this with dyeing too and have it really glow because it's like a full measure, whatever, you know, whatever sort of increments you're doing, whatever, you know, in terms of intensity, it's like a full measure of like old gold or nugget gold, but it does have a lot of this bronzy green in it too. It's just a wildly warm color, so inviting, such a beautiful piece. And Karen also said, oh, this is the back of it. Karen is so technical, so and creative, so good. And this is such a pretty fabric for the front. I mean, look, right? It picks up the little swirls, like the little tendrils. So beautiful on the back and the front. Very, very well done. Karen also sent this stunning piece, and she says, I finally completed this project that was a class I took with Gene Shepard a couple of years ago using dyed pantyhose. Oh, he does so well with the dyeing, and he does so well with the pantyhose, doesn't he? I enjoyed learning about working with pantyhose, but I don't think I would enjoy doing an entire piece in pantyhose again, as did the ladies working for Grenfell. The inconsistency of the pantyhose weight and stretch was annoying. That is so good to hear because I have to say, alternately, pantyhose are my favorite thing to work with, followed closely by loose bat, not roving, but bat. I also like roving, but pantyhose are my favorite thing to work with. And it just goes to show I do a lot of hooking. Karen does a lot of hooking. We all like different things. We all have different preferences. Never take it for granted when somebody gives you, I'm not going to soapbox it, but when somebody gives you advice in one of our online groups, including Rug Cooking and Punch Needle Club, don't take it for granted. Don't take it as gospel because we all like different things. We have different preferences. If someone tells you something will flat out, not going to work, then you might not want to waste your time. But there's so many possibilities in this craft. Um, it's so interesting and useful to know that that's how Karen feels about pantyhose because I am going to be careful when I talk about pantyhose. I always talk about pantyhose like this is the product of the gods, like the very gods like created the pantyhose just for the use of us rug hooking, right? Because that's how I feel about rug hooking with pantyhose. I'm going to be more careful when I talk about it now, knowing that Karen, who is a very experienced and technical hooker, really doesn't like using them. So I'm just going to be more aware that if that's the case, maybe I'll tap the brakes a little bit, when I talk about them. But Karen didn't love working on this piece, and thus I think it took some extra time, right? But all the same, sorry, I gotta say, I mean, this is extraordinary. I know a piece can be challenging to make, or it can set you back in a lot of different ways, technically, mentally, energy wise, everything. But this is such a gorgeous piece. Yeah, and it's such a color wise, it's such a Jean Shepherd piece, isn't it? I mean, it's just the colors are amazing. They are so engaging. They are so warm and sunny. It's almost like you have a photo on your phone and you turn to the saturation way up, right? You get this extra boost of color and it is just gorgeous. I also love the composition of this huge, beautiful animal standing like so tall and substantial against this very flat sort of savanna like background. And in the foreground, he's kind of stomping through these tall, filigree, colorful, beautiful, tall flowers, right? He's tall, the flowers are tall, everything else is very horizontal. I think that's a great touch, right? It's a very fun touch. Now, we could do a whole episode about color in this piece, color in the sky, color in the ground, choice of color for the, what are those, like larkspur or something like that? And certainly the color in the elephant, right? All of those color substitutions in the elephant, making color substitutions to sort of like a little bit of a fantasy palette with the blues, the turquoise, the roses, the pinks, the purples, the mauves, a little bit of yellow, right? Such fun, such an extraordinary piece. I'm looking at your comments. Oh, thanks. I can't stop looking at it. I know it, right? It's true. It's a bonkers piece. It is so good, Karen. It's lovely. Um, Loving the colors of the leaves. I'm struggling with color choices for a welcome mat with a pineapple. Thanks. Yeah, so good to look at other people's color palettes, isn't it? Because it just, once you, and again, let's think back to the Talani's boys and color choices. You know, no matter what your composition is, whether it is a cat or an elephant or a landscape or fire truck or something, a banana, something that has to be a certain color. You see where I'm going? It still doesn't have to be that color, right? Maybe a fire truck. I don't know, maybe a banana. I don't know. Andy Warhol would say no, it can be blue. But the fact is, it can be blue. So my point is, I'm going to grab these because they're here. This isn't a color plan. This is just some leftover stuff. This is maybe some of the kit for March for the mouse hole. If I say to myself, I love these colors, right? I love these colors. I'm going to make something out of these colors. And then I look at my design and it's like a fire truck. Then maybe I say to myself, I'm still going to use those colors. I'm going to choose one for for the truck, and I'm going to put the other ones in other places, and the trees might not be green, but I love those colors, and that's what I'm going to use. That's not just a great exercise, a great creative exercise to do for yourself. It's a great way to unlock your brain from really literal thinking. And maybe you love literal thinking and you're like, no thanks on the unlocking, right? I'm happy with the way that I work. Then I'm not talking to you in this particular moment, right? Because we all have to do what our heart directs us to do. But but you do, I think. I don't think it matters what you choose, but I think it matters that you choose. And I think when you sit down to make um, a decision about a composition, I think it's very important that you don't have to say to yourself, shall I do something literal or not? I think you have to say to yourself, like, what colors are speaking to me for this piece? And, that color if you start hearing yourself say that color can't go there because that's the wrong color, then if you're comfortable with it, you might want to say to yourself, you might want to talk back to yourself and say, yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. This is my piece, dang it, and I'm going to make it any dang color that I want. And yeah, you tell yourself how it is. So just don't forget that that's one of your options, right? Um, you can go in there and do whatever you want, and that's a great way to be creative. In fact, I've been seeing so many posts on Facebook lately about artists who I didn't particularly know well that, are just explosive color palettes, and that's what they're known for. Contemporary artists. And I always think, you do it, right? It doesn't, you do color the way that you do color. Whether you like the same colors in all of your pieces and that's your color palette, that's how you like it, or whether you just want to blast it and you think to yourself, next project is a blaster. I'm just going to blast it. I'm not going to tap the brakes, right? You do it the way that you feel it, but make sure that you don't limit yourself in your color palette to what is in the photograph you're looking at or what your literal brain is telling you it has to be the color because, leaves are green, right? And suns are yellow. Using all those colors to express the gray of an elephant. Hard for me to wrap my head around that. So true. I'm going to comment on that in just a second. I just spent a lot of time audition. Oh, Karen, you're there. Auditioning the colors of the elephant. A lot of reverse hooking. Yeah, well, with something like this that first of all came from a class, right? So like what the tricks were that were being taught in the class and what the sort of intentions were to help you reach those tricks. So you could say, I like the trick, I don't like the trick, I'm going to do the trick again. It's a great trick, I can't live without it. As long as you collect all the tricks, right? That's the point of a class. So all of these technical things are built into this design just by mere nature of it being a class, right? I'm still reading the comments. What I would say about, and just as a reminder, if you want to do color substitutions or monochromatic stuff, and you think, I'm not that good at realism, number one, or number two, you're thinking like, I'm not that good of an artist. I don't know how to place those colors. I would say you don't have to know anymore. Your phone or your computer does it for you. You can open up simple programs like Paint or even um, what is it? Photos, just photos, right? And it offers you, even if you paste a photo into a Word document, you click on the image and then you do color correction, and it shows you it in all of these different monotones or duotones or whatever you want. And then it shows you it like as a sketch or as a what, it shows you different forms like hardening the lines, softening lines, but it gives you a ton of color options. And if you're looking on it at it at a more sophisticated thing like a program on your phone, even just like your gallery feature on your phone, your phone will do this for you, right? You can take out the saturation, you can add in the saturation, you can change the tint, you can pull the colors out. You can just make it like primarily purples, right? And then you have it. You have your starting point. That's your teaching sort of document. That's your reference. And you figure out how to print it out wherever it is or consult it by looking at your phone. And you just have to keep making it large and going, okay, so on the inside of the ear, it's dark right here, but then by the time we get there, there's a stripe that's light. It's tedious. It's going to be tedious if you do these kinds of substitution things. That technically, it is a lot of work and you have to pay attention. But the creative part of it is not the difficult part because we have so many things that do it for us, right? So just remember that if technically you feel like, well, I can figure out the technical part, it's the creative part I can't figure out. You don't have to figure it out anymore. And isn't that a gift? Seriously. So fun. Karen, these are so pretty. Karen, I have one more from you, but it comes up later in the show. I put it in a little bit later. Um, oh, so let me do one more comment. Karen says it was hard to remember, to remind myself of the colors that are warm and cool, and then where on the value spectrum the colors are. Yeah, you could all if you are this is technical talk, right? So this isn't I'm sitting down, I'm fooling around, I'm hooking something, I'm fooling around on my lap, I'm watching shows while I do it. It's not That's not this, right? We're talking about doing something technical and trying to make color substitutions that are not realistic color substitutions that are still correct, right? So the shadows and everything are in the right place. The form remains the same, right? The structure is the same because colors are in the right place, and and lights, all the values are in the right place. With that conversation, it might be a good tool. I'm not a big one for the color wheel, as you know, but in this case, we're talking about technical. Would not be a bad idea to make two different, those things that needlepoint people use, or if you went to one of my Halloween parties, I always make those yarn bats for Halloween. And it's like what needlepoint people use. It's like some kind of a plastic thing that has holes in it, like a pallet or something, and you put all your yarns, or you tie some of your wool strips in there like a little palette. You might want to have one of those, even if it's just like a cutout circle or a ring, like a metal ring, like a giant key ring kind of a thing. But you'd want to have partitions in it too. You could do that with masking tape, though, right? If you could have one ring that was like the color wheel that is included in this piece, warm, and then in your other hand, the color wheel of the colors included only in this piece that are cool, right? So they all go in the right order. So there's blues on here, there's blues on here, there's purples on here, there's purples on here, but these are the cool ones and these are the warm ones. And you don't put them next to each other. You put them on different sides of your lap. So if you're having one of those, rewind that. I missed that. What did he say? Why is everyone laughing? You're, watching, you're half paying attention. Um, when you get back, your head back in the game, you can go, cool. Because my cool one is always here. And you look, even if you're half asleep and you go, okay, those are the cool colors. I'm going to have to choose one of these because those are the cool ones. So you could always set yourself up that way so that you don't have to think later, right? Like, is that the object to not think? Kind of. Like for me, it kind of is, if I'm honest. If I can do all my thinking at the beginning, and then I can do my hooking while I do the TV watching, I don't want to think because that's the whole point is to relax and not think. So any kind of trick I can set up for myself to do less thinking while I'm doing the hooking, and I can do more watching mysteries, right? Yeah, might not be a bad idea. Gail, good morning. Great to see you. Great to see you. Um, Diane says the temperature of the elephant piece is so balanced, can't decide if it feels hot or cool. My impression was hot, but now that you say it, the elephant is mostly cool. However, the elephant being mostly gray, gray is a neutral, and we don't typically count gray. We can in this piece because maybe that rule doesn't apply because he is the motif, right? He is the main character. Interesting question, though. It is very well balanced, and that's a great comment because color-wise, it's well balanced, and warm versus cool, it's very well balanced. Kaz, this is yours. That you finished your piece for International Punch Needle Day. Also, Newport welcome. And Kaz writes, "Hi, Deanna. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the wonderful International Punch Rug Hooking Day Eve program last Friday. I really enjoyed that, and I really want to do more group Zoom things like that. It was so fun. I felt like it worked so well. This works great for what we do here, but I feel like having someone else on talking, it worked so well because I was able to click on different windows and do like feature someone, and to like turn myself off, turn this person on, put two people on together, put three people on together. So we were having like a spotlighting, people having the same conversation. It worked really well. And then we're able to see people who were talking instead of just seeing the name. Worked really well. I was thinking I'd like to, for gallery night, for cocktail nights, I'd like to do gallery once a month, Might want to do a game once a month, and that also includes rug images and rug talk, whether it's a crossword or a bingo or some, one of our games. I'd like to do that kind of an interactive Zoom with another person featured once a month, and then do like a history once a month kind of thing. And then of course we have our days too, and there can always be extra shows and things like that. But I thought just as like a structure, like just more or less, doesn't have to be every time. I don't want to miss if a great book comes out, I'm going to bump something and talk about the great book. But yeah, I really enjoyed that too. So um, wait a minute, that was our Monday show. What am I doing? Stop it, stop it. Okay, so Kaz, you said here are my photo projects of the two events, right? Because this was the one for Tigger, and then the other one I'll show you in a second was the free pattern from Oxford, right? Because they came up with they are the genesis of the International Punch Needle Day. And Kaz, you said your Tigger exclusive design for the welcome mat was so much fun to punch. Thank you so much. The pineapple green yellow yarn and the purple background yarn are my hand dyed yarns. Well, here we go again talking about complementary colors. This is it, right? I mean, this inky purple, like this grape jelly purple, is so good against the mustard yellow. We're talking about opposites again, and that orange is there playing too, right? The purple is taking the place of blue. So we are still going straight across the color wheel. You also have some different greens. They're not all the same greens. You've got that mossy, bronzy green in the pineapple, which I said on the evening of. I just love that with the yellows. I just love that. But you've also got a minty green that I think we might be seeing some of in the Prati in the middle. I love that effect, Kaz. I love that effect. I love the minty green that we're seeing in the little tendril curls, and we're seeing a darker, more like of a juniper green. Nice to see so many colors popping up, right? Create so much interest. In that background, that modeled background that you dyed, also so much interest in it. It is such an exciting piece to look at. You used your Oxford number 13 and 14 to punch using techniques such as chain and satin stitches and Prati. And Cass says, thank you for the pattern, and you are very welcome. I love seeing these come out. Remember, whether you are a Tigger member now or you become a Tigger member in the future, that pattern will be there for you whenever you get there. And so will all of the other free patterns and classes and talks that have gone up and will go up between now and autumn of 2027. So, Kaz, thank you so much for doing such a beautiful job with this. I really, I loved talking about it before, celebrating it here because I think color wise, this is such a high energy piece. It's such an inspiration to know that you did that dyeing too. It's so hard to think about what the right colors can be. As we were just saying, auditioning colors and all of this. It is such a great gift to be someone who is a confident dyer, like in the dye kitchen, because you can say to yourself, well, the only thing in my head that's going to work is this sort of grapey, inky, bluish purple background. And man, does it ever work great. You found perfect colors to pop against it. And all of the different techniques. You are so, and I know you've been certified in punch, and this is one of the reasons it is such a strong instinct, and it's such a correct instinct for you to do pieces that are sampler pieces because we get to benefit from all of these different techniques. We're seeing all of these techniques implemented in a smart way, like you're using them in a smart way. Kaz, what's the sort of long stitch called, the lighter orange that's on the half of the flower is the lighter one that goes across? In needlepoint we would call that a long stitch. Does that have a name in punch? I just love it. It gives it such a texture, doesn't it? Everything is so textured and so cleverly done. If I see that answer pop up there, I'll come back over there and grab it. So Kaz, this was the other pattern. This was the Oxford pattern that Cody Gallagher did. So this was the one that was for the Oxford event. Um, and Cody is an Oxford Advanced Certified Instructor. And Kaz says satin stitches. Those were satin stitches. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because it does look like satin, doesn't it? It's so smooth. Absolutely gorgeous. These colors, oh my God, the colors. See, I would love to have those colors in front of me and be thinking about what to use those for. I could see doing a piece in those colors and choosing the right piece, right? Like a Halloween piece or something like that for me would be so good with that color palette. And so this is Cody's piece, and she's an advanced certified instructor for Oxford. And Cass says, I love the colorway that Cody created so much that I made one just like it using Oxford number 10 regular needle and Violet Jane rug weight yarns. So the Violet Jane is the Oxford brand, right? The Violet Jane is the Oxford brand. This was a great colorway. I have to agree with you, Kaz. This is a real mid-century modern colorway. We've got the kind of stone bluish gray in the background. And then we've got these warm colors, the russets, the terracottas. And then the other zinger is this kind of springtime green. It's a yellowy green, right? It's not a neon. You can't say it's yellow, but you also can't say it's green. It's a really unusual color that really pops against the blue. All of these colors pop and dance together, right? They're all supporting each other in the best possible way. Um, so Kaz, you did this piece, you loved this piece, you loved the colorway, and then you said, since I had a lot of leftover yarn, I decided to make another one. But this time I was thinking about the connection to my many instructors who have given me creativity about going outside the box. I think this is foreshadowing. So take one more glance at this one, and then we're going to look at the next one that Kaz did that is all about going outside the box. And another great example of how you can combine so many different techniques. And I love it when you do this because, again, we all benefit from all of these techniques. In this piece, you say you use various stitches, including beading stitches along the border. Now, there it is again, that beading stitch. That is so good. That is so good. And of course, you can do that as a hooker too. Beading stitches along the border, stem stitches. I think I see what those are. I don't want to give everything away, right? Because it's so good to have Oxford certified teachers in our lives, and it's so good to take classes and support the brand and support the teachers, right? Couching and chain stitches for the connecting lines. I punched a large orange circle using sari silk. Oh, stop it. I see that over there in the middle left. You punched that. Oh, I'm amazed that that didn't get all caught up in the punch needle. That is amazing. You punched that sari silk one. That's crazy. And you said I have quilly, crotty, standing wool, satin stitch, and needle. And now we know what satin stitch is. And needle felted circles. Oh, I love it when you do the needle felting. Yep, I see that too. For the background, I used a reverse punching technique, right? So that is when you punch, and instead of punching the working side not being the finished side, it's reversed, right? So the side that you are working is the finished side. The working side is the finished side, right? So that is a departure. That's the opposite of what it usually is for punch. And Cass says it was such a fun weekend, full of creativity, happy hooking and punching. Kaz, I love you. I love your pieces. I'm so happy that it was such a happy weekend last weekend. I feel like it was a great kickoff to the weekend being together. I heard the other two events were fabulous. I was running around with children as you can imagine. Weekends for me are for running around with children. But I heard that the events were great and there was so much to dive into. There was so much great positive energy. I love the tradition of having it on the eve and kind of starting off the weekend, seeing people start projects or be partway through their projects. And then a whole day later, a lot of people are finished with their projects or finishing them up during these events. I think it's just a lot of fun. It was a good time. Thank you so much for sending those. I'm so glad that you did this piece too, and with all of these different techniques happening. They are all so beautiful and so well executed. Really exciting. And the theme of connections was a brilliant idea on Cody's part. Judy Packos, you sent in a fantastic piece. Look at these little bums. How cute are they? Um, sorry, I'm just catching up on the comments too. Judy said, I just sent my pictures separately. Oh, that's okay. They are zebras. Let me see. This was a challenge from my guild, the Wool Whisperers. How cute is that? The Wool Whisperers. The challenge was to design and hook a chair pad with a butt theme. Oh, stop it. That is so funny with a butt theme. Oh my God. Your guild should make that into a book project. Seriously. That is maybe bottoms up. No, that's too stupid. That's the low hanging fruit. Your guild should do that. Your guild should do that. If your guild wants help doing that, I would help with that. That would be a worthy project. What fun. How brilliant is this? I love this idea. I've never heard of this. Has anybody else heard of this idea? I know sometimes the guilds kind of borrow ideas because there's only, nothing new under the sun kind of thing, but I've never heard of that. Leah, you haven't heard of this either. It's so good. I want to see all of them, right? I was thinking zebra butts, how novel. But everyone was doing butts. That is really good. I love that. I'm gonna have to chase this idea. I want to find who the whisperers are and where they meet. I want to find out more about this. This is brilliant. So with a butt theme, the challenge was to use some supplies from a member that recently passed. Okay, it's getting better by the minute. I not the part about the passing, obviously, but the using the materials and honoring the member that way. I designed the zebras thinking that it would be interesting to hook and out of my comfort zone. That is so good. That's so good, Judy, that you feel like that you want to challenge yourself like that. This idea was new to me. My first original. Wow. That was me saying, wow. I used a scrubby yarn for their manes. And the scrubby yarns, right, are the ones that people use to crochet, like loofahs for washing your body or for washing pans in the kitchen sink, right? I designed the zebras thing. The idea was new for me. My first original. I used scrubby yarn for their manes and eyelash yarn for their tails. Oh, I'll make it bigger in the last one. I'll make it bigger. I just wanted to try something a bit different. I'm pleased with the way the rug turned out. Looking forward to gallery night. Uh, Great. So let's. I want to show you because there's a couple more. Hold on one second. Let me just get here. Yep. Okay. So this is going a little bit further along. You can see how it's evolving. Gail says, I need to the U.S. A for lessons and meeting. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You need to come, and you can stay right here with me, Gail. I would love to have you. Would make a great Magpie Times. Oh, Karen, you're right. That might be an even better idea, getting it into Magpie Times. That would be a faster thing to do. You know what, Karen? Great idea. Um, Karen, no pressure. Do you want to do that? Do you don't because if you're working on stuff, I will do it. But it was your idea, so I don't want to run with it and be like, okay, I'm going to contact them. But if you want to do it, you should totally do it. And if you don't, let me know because I'll definitely get in touch with them and see if we can put this in Magpie with a bunch of people's patterns. I think that would be amazing. Ryan says, takes me back to my life-size zebra skin rug. Oh, God, I remember that, Ryan. The time you had with the stripes. I don't know how you kept your sanity. Obviously, obviously you kept it, but I don't know how you pushed through that. Yeah, that's a great idea. It just goes to show creativity is endless. That is so true. So this is it. That's the next evolution of it, and then there is the finished one for you to enjoy. Let's enjoy. I mean, it's gorgeous, isn't it? So remember, the main is the scrubby yarn. The scrubby yarn has a lot of integrity, right? It's got a lot of structure. And the eyelash yarn, not so much, right? It's like that fluffy duffy, fancy fiber stuff. These novelty yarns are not expensive. It's great to find them. We are coming upon the season of yard sales and flea markets and stuff. Pick up these yarns. If you're thinking, I don't like working with like yarns that are not wool or yarns that are not fine, just think about it because once in a while, I don't mean the whole piece. Once in a while, these novelty fibers are just what you need, right? And you're happy to have them, happy to find them when that moment comes. Judy, this is such a gorgeous piece. You did such a great job. Maybe Judy wants to do this article. I'll see Karen. I'll see what you say, and I want to see what Judy says. Because this is a great idea. This is a really great idea. And hey, you know what else? I'm just now that I'm thinking, because remember what I said about Magpie? I really need to start shaping things out together, because I don't want to get to a place where I suddenly feel like I just don't want to do this anymore. I can't handle it. I don't want to. I know myself, and I know I get to a place where I snap, and I think I've just had the wrong formula for a long time. I think I started out with some great ideas. I did a few of them, kind of took some twists and turns, and I liked some stuff, and I didn't like some other stuff about the way that we were working. And then my brain kind of made a departure, and then I kind of got all like black and white. Let's do this, and I don't want to suddenly be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want Magpie to go on forever, right? I want Magpie to outlast. It's not a competition, but I want it to outlast everything. I want it to be. I want it to be there for us forever as a celebration of everybody's work, and I don't want to lose that. I want to stay engaged. So whether it's this project or whether you can think back to a project that your guild has done or is about to do, or maybe you can suggest a project your guild. I know that ATHA does guild related stuff, and I don't want to like horn in. I don't want to step on any toes with that. But a lot of guilds are not ATHA guilds, or maybe there's an ATHA guild and someone else typically does the ATHA content for the magazine, and you're thinking, well, but we're doing this and this isn't in ATHA. Could you use it in Magpie? We can definitely use it in Magpie. We want to know what's happening at your guilds too, right? Rug hook, it's the same rug hooking network for all of us. So be thinking about things that you might put out as challenges either to your guild or to your friend group, to your library group, to your, a lot of you have mixed media groups. I know I do at my church, right? Some of us do hooking, some of us do quilting, hand quilting, like right there. Some of us do, well, one lady does origami, someone else does knitting. It's still possible to come up with a theme project with people who do lots of different stuff. So be thinking about that, because and then it's 90% photographs and there's not a ton of writing for you to do, right? It's mostly photographs. So be thinking about that. Um, yeah, I'll ask her, Judy. Let's see. I think I'll ask Judy Karen. I think it's a brilliant idea. And I need more of this. I need more of this, really. I can put you in touch with our president. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, Judy, Judy? That is you. June, that's you right there, right? That's you. Um, Checking the handles. I'm such an idiot. Wait a minute. I'm going to write some of these down right now. Sorry. Will you check with them and see? And Judy, would you like to do an article? I could help you. I could help you if it, no pressure, but if it seemed daunting, I could give you like a structure, like recently my guild, blah, blah, like a Mad Libs. I could also do that just as an idea. Excellent. Good. Good job. I'm so glad you were there for that. Sorry I didn't make that connection before. It is a clever piece. It's a great idea. I think we have all fallen in love. It's a funny piece. And I'll tell you what, Judy, this is a hell of a first original design piece. You must be so proud of yourself because it's beautifully executed. It's technically gorgeous, but more than that, the design is fantastic and it's fun and it's funny. And it's not easy, as Ryan well knows, doing stripes, zebra stripes, making the legs look right, making everything look right. It's not easy. You did a great job. You're no writer. No pressure. You don't have to do it at all. But see what the guild says and see if anybody might want to do it, because it would be so fun to see more of the series. And of course, that one being the crowning joy. You named it Rear View. It's so good. Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Judy. That was absolutely beautiful, and of course, a great conversation starter too. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm out of order, but um, Julia, this is your piece. Hi, Deanna, happy birthday. Thank you. I was celebrating 2 weeks later. I'll tell you, I'm still celebrating. Here, okay, so Julia, Wonder Piece, this is you. Here is a punched piece, started last December. So I'm guessing that's is that this past December? I feel like you were working on it not that long ago. Started last December, all wool and cotton yarns on linen, and I'm still tweaking. I have no idea what to call it. So it is untitled for now. I was thinking, that's not a bad title, untitled for now. I want to add some sewn in beads into it. See you next Friday and enjoy some me time. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. it has been a fun week. I have to say I've been busier than the classic moth in the sweater closet, which is not part of the good part, but it has been a really fun time. Thank you. And yes, so, who reminded me that I've now entered Studio 54? I loved that. I feel like I have to make a rug about that. That was like one of the funniest jokes of the year so far. Ursula, great title. It's named Rear View, great title. And so now we don't have to settle this now for sure, but Julie is looking for a title for this piece. Um, and we're probably not going to come up with it because it has to be right for you. Yes, it's past December. So this is still a brand new project. Oh, I love this one. So much motion. It does. It has a lot of motion. It has, for me, it reminds me of a banner. It reminds me of a 1960s banner. Who is that artist? Norm. Ooh, Norm. Gosh, what was his name? He was a teacher, a poster artist. He did, let me see if I can find it. He did books on everything, drawing with crayons, drawing with pencils. Norman something. Norman, 1960s artist. Let's see. Um, La Liberty or something like that. Let me see. La, oh, God. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry. I know I don't want to waste time, but let me see if I can figure it out. Um, okay, wait a minute. It is Norman Law Liberty. Like, okay, I'm sorry. I pulled that out. I was thinking it's something like Law Liberty. Sometimes I scare myself. I mean, I do have all of his books. To be fair, I do have all of his books, but I haven't seen them since we moved. So let me show. So the reason I pulled his name out was because he did so much with banners. And this doesn't matter, Julia, I'm coming back to your piece, of course, but he did so much with banners. And so many of his banners reminded me of like kind of church banners, like lots of, this isn't a good example, but lots of flames, flames and paisleys. That's what's bringing me there. Oh, he had a bunch of banners up in Logan. I don't think they're there anymore. Logan Airport. It's not going to let me open anything. But if you Google him later, you're going to fall in love with him. His stuff is like stuff like this kind of stuffy stuff. That's more collage. He did collage too. He wrote a great book on collage. He does pen and ink. He does crayon. He does stuff that looks like, come on, seriously? Seriously, it's showing me Quince and some pants from Quince. I've never ordered from Quince. Stuff like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But if you Google him, you'll see what I mean. He did a lot with teardrop motifs and flames. Right? And Julie, that's what you got going on. So that's what made me think of Norman Laliti. Some of his books are super collectible, so it's fun to find them in the wild because some of them are like in the many hundreds, which is a bummer. Um, yeah, it does have a paisley look. So cool. Yeah, I don't have a suggestion. I can only say it has a real mid-century modern feel to me. Hold on one second. I want to enlarge it. Feel like I wanted to enlarge one of the other ones and then I didn't. What happened? My brain did its flipping. Oh wow. Oh, it's on bleached linen. Oh, looks so cool. Oh, I love it. Now, Door discontinued bleached linen, so I haven't had my bleached linen again. Julia, can I ask, are you getting your bleached linen from Searsport? The only reason I like the linen I've got right now and I like hooking in it, so I probably won't change back, but I might get some bleached linen for painting canvases again. Oh, I just love this piece. It's such an experiment, but it doesn't seem like the kind of piece that should have a modern like name like experiment number 7. Like it shouldn't have that kind of a name because it's still super earthy and it feels very organic to me still. It's very highly decorative. I still am getting flame. I'm getting flame and candlelight and history and yesterday. And I'm just saying words that like word association. Can anyone throw out some word association words just in case Julia says, oh my God? Um, I'm getting a little bit of like the dolly like melted shapes. That's probably a total departure. You get the I got the linen from, oh shoot, I need to get back on that. I got the linen from, oh shoot. The reds are so cheerful. More embellishment. The more embellishment, the better. Absolutely. I really love the texture of this. Judy says it's so good. Um, um, uh, um, the assess affected your oh it totally did. Yes, yes, the derrieres they did, didn't they? I got all behind. Can you have what chocolate? My special chili chocolate? No, no, Ted, go ahead. Go ahead, Ted. Ted, please have it. I shouldn't have said that. Please have it. Trying to lose weight. Please have it, honey. No, you have it. I shouldn't have said that. Oh, meditate. Oh, yep. Lava lamp. Oh, groovy. Lava lamp. Okay. Warm candlelight. The movement is lovely. Meditations, India spirit. Yes. All of these sound right to me. I gotta say, I'm also getting a touch of like the 1950s Christmas ornaments. You know what I mean? How some of them have that, if you look at the bottom right, a couple of those have the shape of those like 1950s Christmas ornaments. I know it's not a Christmas piece, but wow, maybe that, Julie, maybe that has some inspiration in there. Meditations. Yeah. Oh, I totally knew you meant meditations. I know it. I know it. The phones are annoying. Looks like red blood cells. Hematology. Jessica, interesting. That's really interesting. Got to be dark chocolate. Oh, it is dark chocolate. It's dark chili chocolate. I don't think he's gonna like it, but I guess we'll hear about it if he doesn't. I think he heard me say chili. This is just such a great piece. It's another like Kaz's pieces we were talking about. It has that kind of a slight sampler feel to it, right? It is so um highly energized, right? There's so much motion. We've said motion, energy, but it isn't chaotic, right? It's organic in the way that it flows, but the colors are not organic, right? It's a very warm color. It mixes like the warms with the bright candy colors. It's very unexpected. Muscle definitely could go in that direction. It can have the Christmas feel. Muscle cells. See, we're all getting different connotation. Maybe something resonates. In any case, it is such an interesting piece, Julia. I love this piece. Um, I'm staring at it again because yeah, I'll probably stare at it for a little while when I get into bed and I'm like looking at my phone again and all the pieces I put into the show. Because it wants to take me somewhere, but my brain is locked into what's next in the show, and it's not letting me drift away. But my mind wants to drift away and go somewhere with this piece. Pete's Dragon. Um, I don't know where that just came from, but the illustration or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it carried a bunch of us to a bunch of different places. That is the sign of a great piece of art. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much for sending that. Valerie, you sent some whopper pieces as well. I am out of order. Give me 1 second here. Yes. Okay. Valerie Tillman says, another granddaughter rug completed for her fifth birthday in March. All recycled wool. So good. Oh my gosh, so good. I remember the other ones. This is another Grady, another goat, right? As they say, all time great, greatest of all time. All recycled wools in much dyed on white blanket wool. A beast to hook at number 6 cut. Much dyed on blanket wool. Yeah. Yeah, because the blanket wool is so thick. It would, ooh, volcano ooze. I like that too. Chili chocolate rocks. Ooh, Chocolat, the movie with Johnny Depp. Oh, that Joanne Harris book was so good. The movie was great too. So good. Um, Valerie, yes, I feel you because I've done the same thing. It is always tempting to use blankets and to hook into blankets. It is. I'm with you on that. It's hard to not. But yeah, it must have hurt your hands a bit because it is a beast is a very nice word for how that must have felt to hook it in number 6 cut. It is nice and soft to sit on. Oh, I bet it's very plush. The dancing silhouettes are actually taken from a photograph with Charlotte and her sister striking a pose. How cute are those little bodies? Striking a pose in dance costumes. And you repeated it around the rug. That's really clever because I can see that now. You kind of reversed it That's really clever. Valerie, that's really clever. I really love this piece. And, I'm thinking about Lonnie because Lonnie's been working on a bunch of pieces for a book we haven't talked about lately because it's going to be a 2027 book for sure. Laundry line hooking, hooking with recycled clothing, right? We were working on the laundry line book. Some people still are. I'm sure more people will continue to. And when I feel like we have enough pieces, I will start cobbling it together into a book. Valerie, this is a great piece. And I feel like your other rugs were also recycled wool. These might be great pieces to show in that book. We don't have to feature pattern pieces. I just want to show a lot of examples of rugs that are hooked only with recycled materials. This could be a great one. But in any case, it's a great one all on its own. And your granddaughter is going to love having this. Uh, Charlotte with her sister striking a pose, right? This is a great heirloom piece. Let's dance, Charlotte. I mean, does it get any cuter or any better than this? It is so super charming. I think the design is fantastic. The colors are fantastic. This is an amazing and accessible example of creating your own pattern. How smart is this? Right? To do this in silhouette like this. This also has such energy, such structure. It's fun to look at, right? It's very engaging. The colors are unexpected. There's a lot of very grown-up colors in here, but then the center is so pretty, and the font has kind of a childlike touch to it, right? The letters have a childlike feel to it. It's very friendly. It has like a humorous feel to it. I love the irregularity of the inner border there. It is really fun and really sweet. It's a gorgeous piece. I love it. And this is, so you finished this, Valerie, you finished this piece for Charlotte and you had some leftovers. So you did a birthday rug, leftover from the birthday rug. You did a quick Valentine, a 14-inch Valentine with the pieces that you had left over. And this is such a sweet Valentine. Similar color palette for obvious reasons, but also similar vibe, right? Very center centric, right? Something coming up from the center, spinning around. It still has that great energy, energetic. That's a great word. Dance is what makes the world go round. That amen to that too. I love this one energetic pattern, even though the figures are stationary. I know. How is that possible, right? The flip flopping, the reversing of the pattern, so they're in different positions, makes it look like the musical A Chorus Line. You know, the poster for A Chorus Line, where they're all standing there and they aren't moving, but it's like this implied sense of this like frantic dancing, same kind of energy in these two super fun pieces. Valerie, thank you for reminding us that when we have leftover pieces, it's a really good idea to just use them right then for a spontaneous piece. Why not? Right? That's a great idea because we just put them into Ziploc bags and then they just go somewhere and we forget about them. It's a great idea to just use them right then. Might as well. Great inspiration. Thank you so much, Valerie. Karen, this is the other piece you sent, and for some reason I didn't have them together in my folder. So this is also Karen Garby. This is an original piece called Garden Party, and it measures 18 by 20. It's another study using different fibers and techniques like crotty, beading, applique, felting, and embroidery. The backing is a piece of merino wool for felting. So if you're wondering how is this like how is that happening? You can get wool depending on the craft stores that are near you. You can often get regular wool like felt, the synthetic felt or wool felt. And you can sometimes even get really thick wool felt. That'd be great for penny rugs or for backing for a penny rug or a lamb's tongue rug, depending on your craft store. I remember when I lived in the Netherlands, craft stores, because wool, felt and applique are such big um, crafts over there that even the smallest craft stores had like walls of really thick 100% wool felt. Pricey, but so beautiful. So this is wool merino, beautiful backing. All of these techniques that Karen's tried out here, all of the techniques I just mentioned, and she says the image I was going for was that everything was to be white and soft except for the hat. Well, that's really an interesting start. As always, I learned a lot creating this piece. I had to be very mindful of where I put the prati, since taking it out of the backing would leave a permanent hole. It's true. There's nothing you can do when you're in felt. But forewarned is forearmed. You know that that is the case, and so you have to sort of do the measure 10 times and mess it up twice. What That's not the saying, but you know the saying. You have to be careful when you've got that situation. Um, Otherwise, this was a perfect backing for applique, beading, felting, and embroidery. Yes, for all of the needle arts, it is very forgiving. But for something like Prati, let's talk about this piece for 1 second. Let me just take a quick sip. It is really subtle and sweet. And I'll tell you, Karen, before I read that, because I just read that for the first time, that was the impression. What you were trying to do is, it's also the impression that you gave, because that was the impression that I got from looking at it. So when I looked at it, the hat jumped out at me, the Prati hat, and I thought that's the thing, right? That's it. But then I really noticed the pearls, the dress, right? The beautiful sort of little body inside this dress, all of the like ivory colored flowers around the edges, right? The hair, right? The hair, that very, very light kind of either white blonde or white hair. And for me, I thought the first thing that popped into my mind was, wow, this is a real celebration of white. Because, white, there are endless shades of white, right? We always think like, is it white or is it not white? Is it white or is it off white? That's not a thing. There are so many shades of white, and this piece does celebrate by really localizing the color into that one field, right? Into that one motif, the hat. It does celebrate the colors in there, also the technique. But the rest of it is like, it's a very haunting piece because you had such a uh, delicate hand with all of the other decisions, color decisions that you made here. It's very romantic, it's very feminine, it's sweet and lovely. I really love the way that one of the flowers appears to be black. It might be dark purple, but it appears to be black. I really love that you went there because if the last flower for me was like pink, it'd be less it'd be less memorable and less of a statement than having it be this color, right? It's not like you're trying to do something that's super Victoriana or super romantic. You're trying to do something that the point is like here's the color and the rest of it is this really controlled, very subtle, subdued colors. Um, it is romantic, and I do love the way that we can't really see the face. That to me is a great touch, really smart touch. It is a beautifully done piece. Diane is saying, how would you mount this one? I think that's a great question. Karen, are you going to pop it into a regular type frame? Because this is going to go into a frame just great, isn't it? I love all the techniques that are on here. This is a great exercise. Leave it to you to like sit down and give yourself this kind of a project with all of these different techniques and to make it work so well. It is so lovely. It is like a whisper of loveliness, particularly at this time of year. Um, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. And like so many pieces that we're seeing tonight, we're getting such an eyeful of different techniques. Um, Diane also says, I love the white work, sophisticated medium. Yeah, it really is. White work, like red work and black work, and all of those needle forms are so measure twice, cut once. You know, I never can get it right. I was only partly joking. I can never get that right. And I think it's because people joke about that expression so much that now it's confused my brain. I mean, I did come out with Norman La Liberty tonight. That I think that's it for like the great saves tonight. But yeah, I'm going to try to rewire my brain to remember measure twice, cut once. The reality is, I don't think that's how it works for me. I could measure like 5 times and still screw it up. Seriously. That's my special superpower. Delicate. That's another great way to describe this piece. It is absolutely beautiful. Karen, it's so different than the other pieces you sent too. It's just lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Myra, this is the piece I used for the thumbnail tonight. I just love this piece. And I don't just love this piece because this is a ribbon candy hooking piece. This is also a design like piece. This came out of for me, this came out of the design like class called Design Like Huntervaser, and that is Friedensreich Huntervaser. He was an Austrian artist, 20th century artist, expressionist, right? Abstract expressionist sometimes. He did a lot of figural stuff too, did a lot of landscapes. He was not about labels. He was all about fun. And we had a great time doing a Huntertwasser class that is there for you if you ever want it. That was a really good design like. And this appeared in the design like book on that occasion. It was hooked by my buddy Shannon Carter. And I know I've seen other examples of it, but definitely not lately. So Myra, when I saw this, I got really excited. I love this piece. This is called Evening Commute. And one of Huntertwasser's great themes was the city versus the country, right? He was not really a city person, although he loved the city life. He often lived in a city. He was also an architect, so he was part of the gallery scene. But he rode his bike like many miles, like tens of miles, dozens of miles, sometimes more than 50 miles to get to the city or to get back home. In sandals that he sewed himself, in clothing that he sewed himself, to go to a show or to speak at something. He was such a character. He was known to ride 50 miles. He did have a car at a certain point, and he did love it. It was like a special, like real modern car, 1960s car. But he was very fond of his bicycle, and he was known to ride 50 miles or more on his bicycle to go to a specific bakery that he liked. Um, Outside Paris because he lived in Paris for a long time. He's a really interesting character, a lot to know about him. But in his mind, there was always a huge difference between what the city is and what uh, the country is, the quiet country life is. And he straddled both because he was successful at a very young age as an artist. He was expected to show up places. So he straddled both, however uncomfortable that was. One of his great philosophies that's very easy to remember was that he felt that everything that was vertical was made by man and everything that was horizontal was made by God. And this is a sort of um, what am I trying to say? Philosophy. That's not what I'm trying to say. That he used when he designed buildings, when he created paintings, when he did everything. Right. He had this sort of core collection of beliefs, and they crossed over to any medium he was working in. He worked in a lot of different mediums. But you can see he played around with it. His people always look like this, very angular, usually in bowler hats, but sometimes we get these tall hats that are almost the same as a skyscraper. And the joke is, it's like a skyscraper, right? Like these people are of the city, right? They're coming home from the city. They are not country people. They're dressed up. They look clownish, but again, these are his people. He always makes these designs in their faces too, but they're coming home from work and they're returning to the country. And it is this weird moment. And it is this weird dynamic of living in the twilight between the quiet country and the busy city. And this was one of his favorite subjects. So this was a natural choice for me to choose for design. And all I can say is, Myra, you killed it. Myra says, this was my favorite rug to hook in 2025. I had so much fun hooking this. It has wool, cloth, yarn, sari silk, and t-shirt material. You know how much Huntertwasser would have loved that? If Huntertwasser was a rug hooker, and I so wish he had been, he would have loved rug hooking, first of all. He died in the 1980s on a cruise ship, so he could have caught it, but he didn't catch it. I don't know that in Austria or Paris, rug hooking has been historically a really big thing. I think he would have loved it because he was a very environmentally centric person, and I think he anything that had to do with recycling or repurposing, he was an early advocate of. He was an environmentalist. He was an early advocate of repurposing stuff. So he would love knowing, Myra, that you used all these different materials, particularly the t-shirt material, and it's just such a cool piece. The variety in this piece is evident, right? You're using lots of different materials. You've got lots of different colors at play. It remains a cohesive piece because the story is being told in levels. We've got a rolling green hill behind the two characters with little cute cottages on it, and then collection of trees that are like Huntertwasser's lollipop tree. And then we've got an expanse until we hit that distant skyline of skyscrapers. So it works in levels, this composition. And Huntertwasser's pieces usually didn't. I was just trying to do a bit of storytelling for the pieces that I was creating. But Myra, who could ask for more? I couldn't ask for more. This is just such a beautiful piece. I'm so happy that you love the pattern and that you love Huntertwasser's colors. He loved crazy bright colors. He did. He was such a positive, energized, true artist, kind person, a humanitarian, a charitable person, an artist who cared about other artists, an artist who led from his heart and not from his pocketbook, right? He was, yeah, an amazing person. If you're interested in him and you haven't done the Huntertwasser class, it's at Ribbon Candy Hooking. You can support both of us at the same time. Learning about Huntertwasser will inevitably get you longing for a trip to Vienna, where I would say half of the city, or certainly the most interesting buildings in the city of Vienna, were designed by Huntertwasser. And I show many of them in the presentation, which helps you to create lots of designs that are like this. But I think you have to be Myra to make this. This is just so colorful, so beautiful. And you can do any Huntertwasser composition that you design as a hit or miss, right? It's gonna work. So great job, Myra. I really love it. And I hope you love seeing it as the thumbnail. You deserve it. This is a great piece. These are all great pieces, obviously. Jessica, I hope that I didn't show this already. I don't think I did. I knew that we talked about this while you were working on it. And I knew that if you remember the conversation, Jessica was saying, "What do you think? The placement of the rabbits?" She wanted to do "You are the pineapples of my eye," and the four children represented by the four bunnies, right? And we talked a lot about this, and some of you had some incredible ideas. Like it was such a great conversation that we had together one night, um, because everybody had different ideas, and we were looking at the piece that was partly done. And Jessica, you made a lot of changes that I think worked really well. Jessica was, if you remember, trying to squeeze in the word pineapples, and somebody, who was it, came up with a great idea. You don't have to write pineapples because the rug was a pineapple rug. This was an older, like kind of mid-century or late 20th century, large floor rug. Look at Jessica's feet, right? Large floor rug, and really large. And um, it was already done. Like the center was already done with flowers and everything. So Jessica, and the border and everything. So Jessica was trying to salvage as many motifs from the original rug as possible, while giving each of the bunnies a personality that fit with each of the kids, each of her kids. So this was hard to make it work, right? This was hard to make it work, and pineapples was the problem, squeezing it in the middle. And somebody came up with a great idea. Don't write it because the pineapples are already there. It's like a rebus, right? You are the pineapples of my eye. Sort of the apples of my eye. And Jessica came up with that text of putting "You are the pineapples of," it just came out beautiful. I wanted to be sure that we looked at the finished piece because the bunnies came out beautiful with their individual personalities. The colors they're just incredible. The background, right, is like mostly neutral, but look at all those other pops of colors, like Crazyville, Crazy Times there. Really, really well done. I'm just checking it out, looking at the colors. Jessica said, "I appreciate everyone's input." Leah says, "Love all the bright colors against the dark border." Wow, I love this one. Everybody's bound to love this one, right? And I agree. The storytelling, the personal storytelling, right? Another family rug that is just off the charts is there's just no words for it. Not even in English, when we have the most words of any language, there's still not a word for it. It's beyond special, and it's beyond successful. And it's like, we know as hookers, like, that it is such a thing to be able to make, and we've seen many of them tonight, make something that's for your family, or about your family, or someone you love, or some place you love, right? I'm thinking of Ursula's places. Like, we know what it feels like when you customize something to make it really special. So we know how good it feels to have made this a success. Kirsten says, "Great fairy tale colors." Ryan says, "Wowza." Gail loves this. Diane says, "What mood change would happen if the background on the Hundertwasser piece was hooked in black instead of white?" That's a great question. It would be completely different, right? Complete. I think Shannon did it with a dark background. I think Shannon did. And it's out there on the internet. I know it's in our Facebook group from a couple of years ago at least. Interesting. This is just amazing, Jessica. It really worked. It beyond worked out. And I'll tell you what, besides the storytelling, besides the rebus, right? Besides how fun that is and how funny and how well that worked, um, you did something else in this piece. Hey, honey, I'm doing a live show.
Yeah.
You gonna come say hi?
Yeah,
Hold that thought.
I found cards. I think
Hold that thought for just a second. I'm not done. Ooh, I want that one. You want to say hi? There's my Jossie. There's my sweet pumpkin. We're gonna go do a Pokemon thing tomorrow.
Yay.
And
This card.
yes, I want that card. She's giving me a nice Pokemon card. Is this one for me too?
Yeah.
I'll put them
I
into
thought
my.
you'd like this one
Well, I love
because
that
it
one.
looks like the Diplin.
Oh,
Remember?
it does look like the Diplet. I'm gonna put it on the page next to the other one that's like
Oh, I
that.
see myself.
Hey, you do see yourself. This pretty girl. She's got on her eel shirt right there. You
And
see it?
my fish earring.
And your fish earring. Yeah. Hi, Joss. Kirsten says. Look at her haircut. Oh my gosh, do you see her haircut? Hey, can you
Wait,
just
hold
stand back for a second? I gave her this haircut the other day. Isn't it? I mean,
It's unbrushed.
I did it with the kitchen scissors. But I mean, hey, isn't it gorgeous? It is unbrushed, but that's the whole point of this haircut. Hey? Oh, Leah, thanks. Oh, don't crack your neck like that. Don't crack your neck like that. Gami says hi too. I think she looks so pretty. I love this haircut on. Okay, I can't do Pokemon talk right now because I'm doing the show. Right after it, we'll do some Pokemon talk. Um, sorry about that. Um, love your fishy items. She is a fishy girl. She's going to two fishy camps this summer. So, Jessica, the what I was about to say was one of the great things that comes out of this is that I think we all have 20th century patterns of full size rugs laying around. I mean, maybe not all of us. A lot of people got rid of them, but I think at one time we all had them or you see them. And I mean, maybe you think, I don't know, you're going to do a deal with the devil and you're going to live forever and you're going to hook all these giant rugs and then you end up not, right? And you end up doing whatever with the rug. This is such a great, oh, thanks, Sharon. This is such a great example of taking one of those rugs. And if it's not exactly your thing, right, having the confidence to make it your thing, do it your way. And it's not just the substitutions, right? Because the pineapples are part of it. It's not just the flowers that are taken out from the background. It's not just the adding of the text. It's not the bunny, the bunny children, right? It's not. It's also the part that is kept, right? That floral border is the border, but you don't see a lot of people, or you didn't see a lot of people in the, for example, 1950s and 1960s hooking the border in this color scheme. So, of all the many things that you've given us as a gift in this rug, Jessica, I think one of the big ones is reminding us that when we are um, returning to a vintage pattern, that just like we said earlier in the show, you really want to say to yourself, is this what I mean to do with color? Is this who I am? Is this what I want to be doing? And if it is, then you're already there. But if it's not, and you're thinking, well, I've only ever seen it hooked this way, or don't, aren't you supposed to use Cushing dyes with this? Don't have any mummy brown in here. I better find some mummy brown, figure out a place to put it. You can do them that way, the traditional way, and there is so much beauty in that. Or you can do them this way, right? So thank you, Jessica. This is this is such a success. It's a gorgeous piece. I'm so happy that it worked out, and I'm so happy that we could be helpful with this because, yeah, this is one of the great pieces of all time. And let me shoot back here to Carol Palat, my buddy Carol Palat in Wisconsin. One of my buddies who I met in person when I went out there and stayed with Kaz. Kaz, you know how much I want to come back. I keep thinking, please let it be soon. Remember last time I came, Kaz, I came kind of last minute. It was like, I'm gonna go in 3 weeks. I'm gonna end up doing that again because that's the only way I can make plans. If I plan ahead, I get too nervous that I'm gonna get overwhelmed. I just have to go when I'm feeling overwhelmed. That's the right time to go. Um, Carol went and did the thing in Guatemala. She went and did the multicolorist. So she writes, and she's writing an article about this for Magpie Times. So you're going to see a lot more about Carol's trip. Now, to multicolorist, right? This is a program that you can sign up for and take to Guatemala and do rug hooking for a week with an assigned, you get assigned a partner. And Carol says, I took a once in a lifetime trip to Guatemala this past January to meet the hooking artists of multicolorists. This is the mat I started there with my Mayan mentor. The material is recycled t-shirts cut into strips hooked on monk's cloth. I used a couple of my mentor's bird and flower templates for the design, and we freehanded the rest. This is my process thus far. I found the t-shirt material challenging to hook and admire the Guatemalan hookers more now than before I met them. Cheers. And Cass says, I love the cheerful colors, Carol. They are super cheerful colors. And no, because I've done a few shows on this. Rebecca also went to the program. She told us about her experience. Carol's going to tell us about her experience. Everybody's experience is different because you get matched to one person, and that's your person. That's like your soul buddy. I venture to say you stay friends with that person for the rest of time after an experience like this. So you can see the cut up t-shirts on the right. They go, from what I understand, they go to market and they find t-shirts, right? And it is, from what I understand, competitive, right? Because there's only so many colors or so many bright colors, right? You want the right colors, but I do understand that people trade colors and give each other, give you this for that, or give you half of this or whatever. So everybody has plenty of colors, but they will be bright colors because they are only working with t-shirts. This is a close-up of what it looks like, and man, it's gorgeous. I love the idea that Carol was able to use some of her partners, her teachers' templates. Like, that's great. They just put down the flowers and the birds, and then they connected everything with freehand drawing. I mean, how fun is that? So, when you take this trip, you do a lot of traveling. There's a lot of days here and there too, and boat stuff and travel stuff. So you're doing some hooking, but you're not going to finish the whole thing while you're there. So you take it home and, you finish it. And that's where Carol is at right now. But she just did this in January. So she's come home with all these great memories. And I asked her to write an article for Magpie because, I want to promote multicolorists as often as possible. I think they only do this class once a year, but they do have their website. They sell lots of beautiful original work and rugs, and you can see which artist has made each piece. This is such a big deal, and it's something that is so worthy of supporting. These women are changing their lives. These women are doing it for themselves, as Annie Lennox would say, and they are changing the economy around them. They are changing the dynamic of their household, as you can imagine, right? Becoming, like, in some cases, the larger earner within a household. That causes different problems, or it can. Things are really changing for some of these women, and it's a great opportunity to be able to be one of these Mayan women who is part of this project and part of this program, right? That we hope goes on and on forever. Jessica says, I've hooked with t-shirt yarn, but this is so much neater and cleaner. It's flawless. It I think it really is tighter, and it does for me, Jessica. I'm going back to this slide. It does look different. They are very careful with this school of hooking to make sure. You know how when you hook something with t-shirt material, the two sides curl under, like the long sides curl under. They wrap under or over. In other words, if they wrap over, if you pull the loop up and the two curly sides are on top, you don't get a loop, you get the two curly sides. So that looks less, you know, lush, less puffy and lofty than being careful and making sure. And Jessica, I'm not saying that you're not careful. I'm saying when I hook with t-shirts, I'm not always careful. Same thing with pantyhose, right? Any knit is going to try to play this game with the curls. But if you're really careful and you get used to holding your hand underneath and you only pull up the right side and you have the back of the loop is held really well in place because the two curly sides are tucked under it. Like, just naturally they're tucked under it. So it's very lofty and springy to stand on it if you mean to use it that way. So yeah, it is a slightly different technique. Everybody I know who's done this has loved it so much. It's been a life-changing event. And I'm sure Carol will write it in the Magpie um, article. But they also, the Maya women also offer a new class that I think is sold out for this year, but it's different kinds of embroidery because, of course, they're more known for their weaving and embroidery than they are for their rug hooking. They are newly known for their rug hooking, but formerly known for so many other kinds of handcrafts and weaving. So they also offer a class in different kinds of handcrafts. And again, that one I think is sold out for this year. But Carol will definitely, tell us more about that that Magpie Times article that'll be coming up in the summer issue. And hang on. Oh, Lynn, you sent us such pretty piece. Okay, so Lynn says, "Hi, Deanna. This is my contribution. It is a kit from Robin Whitford. You know, we love Robin Whitford, our friend in Canada. From her series 2025 and 2025, the kit came with pattern, more than enough yarns and wool to complete it. I personalized the pattern by adding two tiny dogs to it. Oh my God, I'm looking. I'm looking. One is in the window, right? And one is running around outside. Two tiny dogs to it, plus a pink heart. Oh, and the rising chimney smoke. Oh, I see it. Oh, those are great personalizations, the best kind. I made it for our dear neighbors who have two dogs. It was a Christmas present for 2025. I loved the yarn for the snow. It was a velvet chenille. Oh, chenille hooks up so well. It doesn't, in my experience, it doesn't punch very well, but because it's so slippery and it has that high pile to it, but it does hook so well. You can see that now, right? How velvety the chenille looks now. And I used it to upholster fabric square from the thrift store to the upholstery fabric. Oh, you sewed the piece. I got it to the upholstery fabric. I'm sorry, it's me, Lynn. To the upholstery fabric from the thrift store and put a pillow into it. I hope you can use it tonight. I certainly can. You sent it very, very early in the day. This is just a gorgeous piece. I love the touches. I love that it's for the neighbor. I love the piece in general. It's just a beautiful landscape, a beautiful winter landscape. What a perfect holiday gift for someone, right? I mean, absolutely perfect. Also love the background fabric, the upholstery fabric. Aren't you always so tempted when do you see swatches of upholstery fabric? Because I see them all the time in like antique stores and stuff, and they're never like super cheap, but they're usually like manageable. And I'm thinking, I know I can't hook with them. I might be able to hook into them, but if you hook into them, then you might have a problem of how can I see my pattern, right? So there's ways to solve that. I have videos on ways to solve that. For example, with this pattern, it's not impossible, right? You can get a pattern on there. Uh, oh my God, these kids. I don't know if you heard that, but these kids. I love the idea of sewing a finished piece onto upholstery fabric, particularly because you then aren't cutting it into strips. So you get to see it too, and it goes really well with this piece. Love the border, love the colors, love the fact that it's a gift. It's just a gorgeous piece, Lynn. It's really, really such a good gift. And this is what it looks like as it's getting ready. Once it's in its little casing, and the pillow's going to go in there. I mean, I can only imagine how much the neighbors loved this piece. It must have felt so good to give this as a gift, and it must have felt so good to get this piece as a gift. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful, Lynn. I have one more piece for you tonight, and this is a piece I used the other day when I said like, oh, I just can't get on live. I had to get those kits out. This is the piece that I use for a thumbnail, so I don't want to just ignore it. This is a piece that Mandy Cornish is working on. This is a sneak peek at the Spillin' the Tea book. So many of you are working on the Spillin' the Tea patterns right now. I need to get working on that a bit more myself. Obviously, I have got to finish the Rose book first, but this is one of the patterns. It's called Mixed Loyalties that will appear in the Spilling the Tea book. And this is one that refers to the very big problem that hardly ever gets talked about, that by the time the Revolutionary War kicked up, there were already a lot of British soldiers like employed in this country to be basically like frontier security, right? They were, I mean, it sounds awful and there's no good way to put it, but they were here, right? This was like an experiment of the crown. They were here on behalf of the crown being paid as soldiers to protect the settlements, the evolving settlements from Native Americans who obviously were here first, because there was a lot of fighting, right? We won't go into the details of all of that, but British soldiers were here to protect and but to protect the cities and the people who were here, right? As visitors, right? They were still supposed to be British, right? So many of the soldiers were here long before the war really started, before the fighting really started. And a lot of them had married, you can't say America yet because it wasn't a country yet, but a lot of them had married local women and that were generations old, right? 1620 to the 1770s. That's a long time. They had married local people, local families. And this chapter is Mixed Loyalties, is about the conversation about God, how hard must it have been for many of these British soldiers to have been expected to pick up a gun and just start killing people who they'd been living with for 10 years. It was reality for many people. And I'll just remind you that they lost the war. And I'm not saying it's for that reason. It's certainly not for that reason alone, but could have been part of the reason, right? It could have been. I don't know. I'm not enough of a historian, but I always thought it was interesting thinking of it from the point of view of a British soldier who wasn't newly deployed, who'd been here all along, right? And had kids with somebody here and had neighbors and everything else. So Mandy's doing a beautiful job with Mixed Loyalties. I thought this was an interesting piece because you get kind of a window into the way that she hooks too. I think she's on a floor frame, like she's rolling or moving it as she goes, like a typewriter. It's funny to see how different people hook. She always hooks, sorry, with Briggs and Little wool yarn, and I think she always hooks with my yarn. She's an only yarn hooker. She's very detail oriented. She was so interested, as a Canadian, she was so interested in so many of these. We work together all the time, right? She's one of the people I work with all the time. She was so interested in some of these stories. And I was so happy that there are quite a few Canadians who are working on pieces for this book, because, of course, the Canadians were loyalists. So they were on the British side, and the British side lost. So, I never know how feelings are going to be 250 years later. But I'm so happy to see that, there are people who are not just Americans hooking this book project up. And yeah, I love this design. I love all of the designs in it. And I've seen quite a few of them as people finish them and send them to me. And I'm keeping a lot of them secret, of course. But I want to, from time to time, show you one here and there. So you know that we have that to look forward to, too. We have some really beautiful designs in that book, and a couple that are designed by other people besides me that are also just beautiful designs. So something else to look forward to. I'm going to hit it. I forgot what I was. Oh, I was still proofing the rose book. I was at the end making captions on stuff. Oh my God. What a fun night. What a lot of beautiful work tonight. Like, really, there were some themes by accident tonight. We saw a lot of pieces. We saw more punch pieces than usual, and I'm not surprised because it was just International Punch Day. That's exciting. We saw a lot of pieces with mixed techniques. That's exciting too. That gets us going. We had a lot of technical questions tonight about color substitutions, right? Starting at the beginning with Ursula's piece about the frame, like these kinds of ideas for doing something technically that's a bit different, whether it's your physical layout or whether it's a new technique that you're going to try. We've seen lots of examples and lots of inspiration. We've seen, yeah, I mean, none of the pieces tonight were difficult for me to talk about. They never are. It's never difficult to talk about hooked pieces because everybody's work is so different. And even in first pieces and beginner pieces, I love talking about those pieces too because you can really get a feel with the first piece. Um, I don't think we had any completely first pieces today. Judy's piece was the first piece she designed, but not her first piece. You can really get a feel early on from the way that someone likes to work. And I think you have to honor that and you have to encourage that person to keep working in that way. Of course, they can grow sideways or upward or whatever, but they also can just keep going in the vein that is like their natural inspired vein. It's interesting to see what that looks like. So it's very easy to talk about anybody's piece, right? You can think of 100 positive things to say about any piece that we're looking at. And certainly the pieces tonight, there's at least 1,000 positive things to say about all of them. Always beautiful. My mom says so many gorgeous pieces this evening and great conversations. Always love Friday nights with Tiana and all of you. And you too, Mama. I love Mama. Me and my mama are going to start having Tuesday breakfasts every Tuesday. We said at the beginning of the year we're going to get together every week for breakfast, and we did it once. Well, we did it twice, counting this last week, but it gets so busy. We have to make time for these things. It was so fun getting together. We were talking about Magpie Times and some new ideas that I have for it, some new directions. So I will let you know. I will set a date maybe for next week, and we can set up the first one of those. And you never have to show up for everything, and you don't have to speak. You don't even have to put your camera on. Maybe if you hear something or you think, oh, wait a minute, I know somebody who could do that, or wait a minute, like this might help. You might want to participate, but you're not expected to participate. I'm not going to be asking people questions during these Magpie meetups. It's going to be, maybe that's what we call them. It's just going to be for brainstorming and fun. So I'll post one of those maybe after the show. I'll post a time in the Facebook group and also in YouTube for those of you who are not on Facebook. Leah, I'm glad we've lifted your spirits. Tell that little one to get well soon. It's hard and it's grumpy. It's grumpy work being sick for sure. Hopefully, sleeping happens, much needed sleeping, right? So many gorgeous pieces. Love all the different textures and colors. I work with what I have and imagine what it can be. That's a great that's a great line for a rug. Always have to imagine what it can be. That almost choked me up. Be careful at the end of the show. Sharon says, beautiful work by everyone. What a fantastic show. Fantastic. And New Moon says, hope the rest of your weekend goes smoothly, Leah. Oh, God, yes, I know it. Hope it's turned to the right direction. Gail says, this has been great. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll be working on my stuff. I'll be writing to you in a little while. And I will look forward to Monday when we will look at the new issue of Raw Cooking Magazine. I haven't opened it yet. Pretty sure that it's beautiful. We have something to look forward to. Have a great weekend, everybody. Come